Hello. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? All right. Here we go. Letting people in. Good morning. Good morning. How's it going? Hi, Ken. Let people in. There we go. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Monica. Hi, Alan. Did you get my message? So the stuff is in the same place as usual. So I'm happy to.
I had trouble finding it. It's really crazy.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and show you now. Let me share my screen. Give me a second. I wanted to post in the chat the Padlet link so that people who might have forgotten to post or might need it. There we go. So let me, there we go. So let me, look at that. They changed the mask mandate. I hadn't read it until right now. They changed the mask mandate to highly recommended and not enforced for people who are in person, in case you have an in-person class, just letting you know. Okay, sorry, I was about to show. Alan had a hard time finding the recordings, and if it happened to him, I'm sure it's happening to other people. So I wanted to show that while people are signing in and getting ready. Hold on. There's a lot of people signing in at the same time. I'm having to let people in. There we go. So don't forget to head over to the chat and give me a little hey ho. A couple of you guys have done that already. Hi, Mary. Hi, Saul. Hi, Rob. Sorry, you're still having problems.
Yeah.
Did you get my message about staying a little bit so that I can help you after class? Did you get that?
No, I just got your first email about the Zoom class here.
Okay, because last night, then check before that, I wrote to you asking if you could stay
Oh,
a bit later so I can try to help you with that. All right, so quick share. I'm going to share my screen while people are still popping in, because I want to make sure you know how to. I'm interrupting because as I speak, I'm letting people in, so I'm multitasking here. I'm trying to remind you where the recordings are. So they are in this folder here in the handout. So how do you get to that folder? You sign in, you go to svcc.edu, and then you go into pipeline. And then hopefully it's not a dream. All right, and then you go over to student resources. From student resources, you go to your Google Drive. I'm doing this kind of just the steps kind of quickly. And then when you're here, you go to shared drives. That's it. Now here I have a ton of shared drives, but you should have one, or at least if you're only one of my classes. If you have more of my classes, you would have more. And so you go find your Photoshop shared drive and you open it. And then that's it. At the top, you should see the link says Zoom class recording links, but you could also go to the very bottom if you don't have that reminder in it, alphabetical order. There it is, Zoom class recordings. It's the same one. It's just that the things that get open last get put up in this very top suggested thing. And if you opened it already, then you should have it here. And when you open it, then there's the link. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. And so that's last week. That's the weeks before. Tomorrow, you'll find a link here for yesterday's class. Now, what I will do, here's another link that I'm going to put here. which is how to get to this place. So how to get to the class handouts and recordings. And there's the link. So if you want to copy this well, that was a bit of a typo there, but how to get to the class handouts and recordings, that link, copy this that I just put in the chat and put it somewhere on your computer so that if you have a hard time remembering how to get to this, that's a video of just this little process that I just showed you really quickly. Okay. Now I'm just going to sign in my VDI to so that I can get my files. Now, remember, if you don't get the sign in, for you people who are on VDI, if you don't get that sign in at the beginning, it's because you didn't sign out the night before. And then when you open your files, they might be corrupted. All right. So this is VDI that I'm showing right now. And since I already signed in, then when I go to Adobe Bridge, I should be able to find all the files there ready to go. The same place. I don't even have to find them anymore because now the computer just goes to the same place always and finds them just by opening. So the first thing I put in the Padlet, sorry, the first link I put was the Padlet link, but some of you just signed in. So I'm going to click again. I'm putting, for those of you who just showed up, the chat only starts when you show up. So you don't see the things that I put at the beginning. So I'm putting the Padlet link again, right there so that you guys can access Padlet. And let me show you this week's Padlet. I did see a message come in that some people posted this morning. I have not checked it this morning. So if there's anything new, I didn't see it. But thank you. One thing I did notice is people have been posting some things outside of just what we've been doing in class, which is wonderful. I do need the things that you've been doing in class. But like this one just got posted, so I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So this is a composite soul of the airplane wing, and then behind you have the stars, the solar system. And I like your little sentence, someday somebody will truly fly the stars. Cool. If you have any questions, remember to ask. And so Monica did have some questions here with this one that she posted. And she's talking about using the same mask for two different things, exposure and saturation. And no, because each one of those target something different. So you do need to use one for each. So this process of adjustment layers is additive, where you might end up with 25 or 1 or 84. What you can do sometimes is organize them in folders and stuff like that. But when you look at a photograph truly edited by a professional, those photographs of people look flawless and perfect, and you wonder, how do they make them look that way? Well, there's like 85 of these layers where they target every little different part, just so that it's easily editable and really targeted. Now, if you want a general compensation, you can do that in one mask, but when the more targeted you get, the more you need separate ones. Now, one of the things we're going to be learning is surprisingly enough, I was actually feeling cold this morning. What an amazing feeling, right? After all the heat we've been having. Let me take this up. But today I'm going to begin to show you the raw tool. And in the raw tool, well, I believe you've seen it before. There's more things that you do all in one. Okay, so in the raw tool, you need less of the individual adjustment layers. You have less specificity in what you apply it to. So, you have to weigh in when you just want one tool to do a lot of the work. You use the raw tool, and then you do the very individual adjustments this way. And then that's kind of the best way to not have 200 adjustment layers.
So my issue here was that, I masked it. I was like, oh, I should change the hue. So I masked it, and I was like, oh no, that's not what I should have done. I should have changed the exposure. So, but
Oh,
I've put
but you
all the
wanted-
work into making the mask.
That's different.
So,
Yes, you
yeah.
can reuse the math. Oh, and that,
Okay.
okay, now, okay. So then the selection is what you're trying to reuse, right?
I
All the
guess,
work
yeah.
put into making that good selection. Can you
Mhm.
then reuse it? One for
Yes.
hue, one for mask, one for, yes.
Yes, that's
thank
what I
you.
mean. Okay.
Got it. That's a great question. And yes, we can do that. And I'll show you. That's actually a very simple process. So I can show you that really quickly. So
Okay.
thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't want to put all that work into doing it again. Plus, your second mask will never be identical to the one that
Right.
you just did, right? And
Right,
so there
right.
might be a little bit here and there, and then it
Okay,
would look really weird.
so the term to use would be the selection.
Yeah, which you are right. In the end, it is the mask in that the selection creates the
Mhm.
mask. So you were
Right.
right. But when you said that, I understood in the same
Right.
mask, do two things
Yes.
at once. But so no, I understand your question now. So I'm glad we clarified that. Okay, so everyone, we're going to open a file now. So hopefully you have Bridge opened up and ready to go. I have is anyone needing to get to their, is anyone still not in their photos? Do you need a hand getting to the photos? Okay, then I'll continue with this. Oh, by the way, I have been, the people in IT have been able to fix, you know, we had two different problems with VDI, with the graphics processor and something else. So they're working on it and they fixed one of the issues, but not the other. So we'll get to that. Anyway, we'll get there. Okay, so today we are going to be using raw. So since that's one of the things I asked them to fix, hopefully it's working. I haven't tested it yet. But let's go ahead and open the I'm noticing that something's wrong here. This is the same image. This should be two different images. Why is it the same image? Two different, huh? In the very end, there's two different names and it's two different files, but they're showing up the same.
It looks like one is already modified.
Yeah.
And the
But
other one is still original.
yeah, but this one should be showing a waterfall. Anyway, I'll check it later to see what's wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this one. This is it's on the K's, it's called Kelly. And so depending on where you are, head down to the letter K. And this is a JPEG. Okay, so last week most of you guys had said that you had read the resolution assignment, and a couple of you guys hadn't read it yet. So hopefully by now everyone's read it, because now I'm going to really spend much more time really talking about resolution. But let's, the moment we open, before we open it as usual, let's go and check so we get more accustomed. So this file here is showing me that, to start with, that it's bigger than the ones I've been using the other days. It's not a huge file. It's 1333 pixels by 2000. So remember, that always means that the width comes first, and it's the smaller one in this case, and then 2000 is the length. So that's how many pixels total I have. What sometimes people get confused, because this here is the file size, and sometimes you see pixels with more or less files with more or less pixels, and the file size doesn't correlate. So you'd see a lot of pixels in a file, and the file might be smaller than one that has less pixels and the file is bigger. So they don't correlate, because this has to do with what type of file you have, how many layers and masks and products and things you might have in it. So you don't expect that just because you have more pixels, the file is bigger, unless it's the thing that comes straight out of the camera. When it's straight out of the camera, that's very direct. You have a bigger file if you have more pixels, a smaller file have less pixels. But once it's been opened and changed and worked on, or anything you do to it will change that relationship. Okay, and unless it's your own photo, you will never know if it's the original photo that came out of the camera or not. So never consider this file size as indicative of anything other than that this particular one has this file size, and that's it. But what we do want to look is that whatever PPI it says is showing up here. Sometimes it shows up like 240 PPI in this case. What does this mean to you? What does 254 PPI mean to you? When you just read that, when does it matter and why? Especially anyone who just read the handout who might have some insight, or if not, some.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah, what does 240 PPI, when you read that, what meaning do you make out of that? Like, why would you care about that? And when do you care about that?
API, each is the resolution of the image. And the megabytes, each is the size, the file.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about size. I'm talking about only this. Like, if you see 240 PPI, what does that mean to you? And I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, you can print that one because you're gonna be able to see the good resolution of that.
Yeah, that's all it means. It means you can print it. Okay. So of all the 250,000 thoughts that you might have had, all it means is that you can print it. Because it's 250 PPI to 300 or higher. Anything higher than this means it's printable. Anything lower than this means that you still need to tweak it to print it. It's not that it's not printable if it says 72, but that you still need to modify it. Okay. Hold on, I left my phone sound on, and normally I turn it off and it's ringing. Apologize for that. So that's all it means. If it says that it's less than that, it means that you need to modify it if you want to print it. What this means is that you can print it at this dimension in inches. By the way, let me specify, because if you want to print it at this size, there's nothing left to do. You can print it right now from Bridge. You don't even need to open Photoshop. But if you want to size other than this dimension in inches, if you want to print it at something other than 5.6 by 8.3, then you still need to open it up and do some modifications. Okay. All right, just wanted to clarify that and now let's double click on it so that it'll open up Photoshop for us. All right, and let's get ready to go. This happened to me before. Photoshop was not open. This happened last week, didn't it? That I double clicked and it didn't open. There it is, finally. How weird. Anyway, let's get this opened up. Okay, so any I was going to say any questions, but I can't even answer them until it opens up. So let's go ahead and, wow, this is really slow today. All right. So here we are in Photoshop. So they're working on this. This is the message that I said that I had sent, and they were able to fix 2 of the problems, but not this one yet. So they told me they're working on it. So at least they're trying. The whole point is that it's still working for us. So let's say, okay, and keep going. I don't know why we get that message and yet it still works. You would think if you get that message, it wouldn't work, but it's still working. So for now, let's proceed. All right. So in this image here, we have some areas that are easily defined, easily selectable. I believe that I've shown you other photos where we've last week, or let me go back here, last week or the first week, where we painted in some masks. We did the painting in the mask of her jacket, right? And then we did some other kind of selections here for the balloons with the quick selection mask, and over here in the chalks, we had used the polygon that gives a straight line. So we've tried 2 or 3 different ways of selecting, and there's actually even more. I'll keep teaching you about selecting. But in this case, all of those things were relatively, let me go back to it. They were relatively clear what needs to be selected. It's a little bit harder when you have something like, that's kind of a gentle transition. And I'm going to go to this example that Thomas posted the first day, where what if you were trying to select this tree, right? And I know it's a bit hard, but see how it's really hard because there's no real beginning or ending to this tree. It kind of gets lighter and lighter, and then it kind of disappears. There's no clean line. Same with this poster here or billboard, right? It kind of fades away. There's nothing that's exact to select. I did little areas when I tried to work on it. Actually, I worked on a little bit more. I'll show you later, Thomas. But like the distinction between this guy's shirt and this background is basically gone. This shoulder is not there. You see what I mean? So those kind of things are very hard for the computer to select automatically, right? Because it just, it can't, it doesn't know. We know that's a shoulder and that's a bush behind it. And we would know how to draw a line. Photoshop just sees pixels. So these tools work well when there's very clear definition and what needs to happen. So there's a tool I haven't shown you yet that I'm going to show you next. So again, we're going to go to the fourth tool down and you click and hold. There's 3 different selection tools here. So I've shown you the quick selection tool last week. We're going to work more on that one. But let's head over to the one that's object selection tool. Object selection tool is this one at the top. It should show up with a little square kind of button. Once you click on that one, as long as you have Photoshop 2022, so if you have an older one or 2021, this was not happening. But as soon as you have a 2022, something starts happening here automatically. See this little object finder that's kind of searching and stuff. So as long as this is on and turned on, look what's going to happen when come on, don't. Hello. It's not. Hello. Is it working? Hello. It's not working for me. It should be selecting this for me. Is that beyond what? Wow. I've never had issues with VDI before. Huh. Is something happening for you guys, by the way, that's not happening for me?
I don't
It
have
should-
VDI. I have my own version. So when I click on the button, those arrows buttons, and then I click on hover over the woman,
Yeah,
it's shaded.
it's
Let me do
shaded.
it.
It should be
Yes.
doing that. Yeah, so I'm trying to get it to do that. And somehow it's not. Okay, let me click on this button. Okay, now it did work. It did select it, but that's interesting because it finally did it, but not when I requested it to do it. Okay, so here's the deal. The whole point is that this tool finds things for you automatically. And if you have this functioning and you point to an area, those areas should be self-selecting without you having to do anything, but it's not working for me. I just wanted to know if it's working for you. So now it's trying something. It's not working. Oh, how can I teach something if it doesn't work? So frustrating. But Mary, you said it worked. No one else? It's nothing. No one else is having a selection? Because you're all working on your own computers, not on VDI, right?
Diana,
Yeah.
this is Ken. I'm on VDI and it did work for me.
Okay. Why is it not working for me? How strange is that? Me. Okay, well. Maybe I have to let me open this file in my own computer. and show it to you there. Let me, hold on, because I don't have the files in my own computer handy. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm working in the background on my own computer trying to get this to set up and to work. Huh. Okay, let me just change my share. Okay, so now I'm sharing you my Photoshop, not the VDI Photoshop. Okay, so I need to. Okay, so here we go. So see what's happening now? That when I move my mouse around, it's kind of selecting in blue things that are easily identifiable, which in this case is either the whole woman or like the hat. So I'm in that same tool, right? And when then this tool is turned on, your tool, just as you hover, I'm not clicking. If it's something that it has good edges, then it goes, oh, this must be an object, you know, as opposed to that shoulder bush area from that picture. It's clear that this is an object. So it goes and it selects it. When I click on the woman in general, it goes, oh, well, maybe the whole thing is something that I should select. Is that happening for you? All right. So if you do want it, so let me go to the hat again and I hover over the hat, then I can just now simply click. And once I click, the hat then becomes selected. See that? So that blue hovering is what created the selection. Hi, Simar. I don't know if she's here yet. She just walked in. There we go. Hi, Samara. Good morning. Can you hear me? She's not connecting yet. All right. So let me know if this worked for you. Give me a yes. And if this didn't work for you, then give me a no. And that's to remind you how to say yes or no is head over to the tools and to the reactions and give me a green check mark for yes and a red check mark for no. So I'm going to undo the selection again. I'm going to do Control or Command D to undo this selection. Okay, so Control or Command D gets rid of your selection. I'm on PC. So hi, Simar. Are you? No, she still doesn't have audio. Okay, whenever she has audio, I'll catch her up. So I'm getting a couple of yeses, not from everyone. Sabrina, did this work for you? You are on your own computer, not on VDI. Okay, so head over to this tool, make sure that you have this tool on, and then the automatic setting of this tool, you shouldn't have to, but if not, you can like click on this to make it run a search process in case it isn't happening automatically. When you hover over stuff, areas should be getting, selected like that. If that's not working for me for the VDI for some strange reason, well, let me actually see. It looks like it finally did it while I was in my other computer. It's still not working on the other VDI. So I'm gonna stop my share. Can you share your screen, Sabrina, so we can see what's happening on yours? Now, all of these automatic tools use much more processing power than the computer normally has to use for others. And so it's possible, now I'm just questioning whether your computer is newer or older.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Do you have an older computer maybe?
Yeah, maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, well, actually, let me correct myself. My computer is very old. It's a 2015, so it's even older than yours. It's more like the processing power it has, how much RAM it has, and that kind of stuff. So that's more an more accurate description. So now you're sharing your screen. I still only see black screen. I don't see your screen yet.
Right now, your voice is breaking up.
Okay, now there it is. Your screen
So
is
what
sharing
I did
now.
was I used the quick selection by mistake,
Yeah.
and now I don't know how to undo that.
Okay, so go ahead, and if you want the shortcuts, then is this then you go and hold down the control key and then the D, tap the D. Or
Yeah.
go up to the word select on the top of the screen and then say deselect.
Okay, yeah, I tried that. It looks like finally now maybe it's caught up.
Yeah, it looks like it did drop the selection. So control D works. So yeah, so you're having that. So if you were to click right there on that, does anything happen?
No,
And you're on your own computer, you're not on VDI, right?
right, but I
Yeah.
do get those error messages when I load up Photoshop, same as on VDI.
Oh, on your own computer, you get that
Yeah,
message? Oh,
Yeah.
then, yeah, then that
Yeah.
is your computer's probably having issues with the, okay, then, yeah, so then there's nothing I can really do. What you could do then is go up to the top of that toolbar
Mhm.
and on the far right, see where it says select subject, go ahead and click on select subject. Yeah, click on that. So that one's a slightly less subtle tool because you can't tell it what to choose, but it is gonna process your image, see how it's telling you, and then it'll probably select the woman. But especially since you're sharing on Zoom, it's gonna be even slower than usual. So I'm gonna stop your share so that you can do this because, well, actually it seems to be processing it. There we go. So everyone, when it doesn't work with the tool, then see how I had her click on that select subject and see how the woman got selected. So it worked, except for it's not as subtle, like it got the main object, but this wouldn't go in and give you just the hat, okay? This gives you the subject, which in this case, it did a good job, right? It gave you the whole woman, separating it from the background. And, there's white gloves on white background, but it's a pretty well-defined edge, and that select subject up in the top right worked well. So I'm going to stop your share right now. So anyway, if you're having issues with that, then that would be the way to go, to click on that select subject. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to go to the VDI instead of my personal one. Here you go. And yeah, so in my case, if I do the select subject, it should be working too. Hi, Megan. Simar, can you hear us now before you were having? Okay, hi. Good morning. And Megan is joining us right now too. So anyway, so I did the same thing. I went to the select subject and then it goes ahead and I'm going to say got it. Then it went ahead and gave me the selection of the woman. But I'm going to get rid of that. So everyone go ahead and get rid of that selection. Say Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac. If you're on a Mac, but you're on VDI, then it's Control D because it's still a PC. And then that got rid of the selection. Okay. So there's another way to use that tool to be more specific. So though, for those of us for whom the automatic isn't working, which in VDI it's not working, but in the personal it is, then you can also use this tool to define what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this tool and I'm going to drag a little box around that hat. And so I'm telling it, analyze only this area, and then it should find it. But again, it's, wow. Okay, here I was saying how VDI is working. I might need to stop showing you in VDI today, because the VDI is not doing what it's supposed to do. Let me start my share for a minute to see if I can do it without when I'm sharing. This is not good. VDI is not being responsive, which is definitely something that is not going to work if I need to keep teaching.
Diana, this is Ken again.
Yeah.
It took a little while for VDI to actually respond when I was trying to use this tool. Maybe that's part of the issue. And not only respond in terms of defining the object, but also the Control D took a little while for that to actually work.
Yeah, the whole thing is really slow. I should basically, I don't mind teaching in my own computer, of course, because I have it, but I'm worried how many people are on VDI, because if you're doing the class on VDI, you need to be able to follow through. So let me clear your answers, clear your feedback. How many of you guys are using VDI right now to access your Photoshop? Linda? Who else? Ken? I know Ken and Linda. Rob, what are you doing? I can't hear you. Your sound is off. Your sound is still off. You need to unmute yourself. So yeah, there we go. Now
I was able to get Photoshop to come up, so I'm all right right now.
you're on your own. All right, so it's
Yes.
Ken and Linda. Simar, I don't remember. You have your own.
I downloaded,
Your own Photoshop. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, there you go. While I was polling you and talking, the selection worked on VDI, but it's really slow, which is gonna be like impossible for me to teach. So I'm gonna keep teaching with my own Photoshop now instead on VDI. And then when I'm showing something and it doesn't work for you, Ken or Linda, just let me know and I'll see if I can find a workaround, or you might just have to, like you said, wait for it a little bit. Because when I am on VDI and I'm sharing my screen, it just wasn't working at all. The moment I stopped sharing, it did, do the thing. But yeah, I'm going to have to talk again to, I don't know, this, it's been 2 years now that I'm teaching Photoshop on VDI and it's working, but up until they just updated from Photoshop 2021 to 2022. And I think that it's taxing whatever system they have, because this is going to be a problem. I might have, I know the other Photoshop teachers who teach Photoshop request, their students to purchase it. And if this isn't working, I might have to get you guys to purchase it. But even if you purchase it, you need to have a computer capable of running it. So yeah. Anyway, let me just switch and share my regular computer then. There we go. So I am on a Mac. So the only good and bad is that when I teach to you on my regular computer, you don't see the top set of menus up here in my share, as opposed to, let me tell you what I'm talking about. When I'm sharing my VDI or my PC, see how up here it says file, edit, image, layer, type. And sometimes we need to go up there, like I just said, go to select and deselect and stuff like that. When I share my Mac, it only shares as of here. It shares from here. So whenever you need to see these words, I'll tell you, go to the top and grab select and then choose deselect. And you need to know that I'm talking about the top of your computer. Does that make sense? Because the Mac window for some reason shares itself only from here, because the tools on the Mac are up on the top of the screen. So I just wanted to with that caveat now, since I'm on a Mac, see how I mean? Up here, there's no words that say file, edit, image, layer, but they are there on the top of a Mac. Just so you need to go to the top of yours and open, whatever it is that you're gonna open to do that. Now I have a question. If I do this right now and say select, are you seeing my window? So you don't see the word select, but you do see the reselect and that kind of thing. Okay, good. So then that still works. I just need to tell you which one to click on. All right, good. So let's continue. So here it is. This is how this tool is supposed to work, that you hover over things that you need and then it selects it. So now once you decide that what you want is only the hat, then hover over the hat and then you do a single click. And then there the selection happens for the hat. Okay. So now the initial question that we had here, whoops, move over. The initial question that Monica had was, can we use this mask again and again? So I'm going to show you a few ways to do that. So right now we're just going to work with this hat for a second here. And we're going to create a quick hue saturation. That's the one that we've been using all this time. So we're going to do that again, just so that there's nothing new here. We'll head down to the bottom of layers where we see these little icons, click on the adjustment layer. And because it's a Mac, the tool is showing itself.
Are we supposed to follow through here with you?
Yes, always. Mhm.
Okay, can you just help me get to this picture?
To this image. Okay, give me a second. Let me let everyone else do the mask. So click on hue saturation and just flip this in one way or another. All right, salud. And then change the hat color, right? So let me just show the answer to Monica's question, and then I'll help you find the photo in a second, Simar. So once you have that mask, her question was, once you have that mask, do you need to create that mask again and again if you want to do something else to it? So maybe you want to darken it now or lighten it, or who knows, cut it out. Do you need to do that mask? Now, this was an easy mask to make. I mean, we just hovered over it and clicked it, but sometimes we spent, like last week, much more time on our masks, and that's nothing. Sometimes you can spend, an hour on each mask when you're getting really picky. So how do you reuse that mask? Watch. Does everyone have a mask now of one type or another? So what, that down here is my mask. Let me, since I'm sharing from my screen, let me see if I can make my thumbnails a bit bigger. No, it's not letting me change the size of my thumbnail, is it? I used to, because on the share, I don't normally share my medium. There you go. I just started teaching. It's better to have a bigger thumbnail. So there you go. So now this is my mask, right? To be able to now add a new adjustment layer to this, how do I pick up this mask? I just go to my mask with my mouse, hold down the command key if you're in a Mac, the control key if you're on a PC, and then click your mask. And there comes the selection again. So now I'm going to say Command or Control D to get rid of that again, and to pick up that selection, hold down Command or Control and simply click on your mask. And then you should see up there that your selection gets selected again. Does that make sense? So I don't have anything that we did last week because I didn't do it on this computer. But if you open anything else that has a mask, let me see if I can do it on my VDI again, where I have everything that we did last week. Yeah, hold on. So I'm opening up last week's on my VDI, and let me share my VDI with you for a second. Here we go. So last week we created these masks here, right? And so if I now were to want to do something else with this mask, and it's been a whole, week, I don't need to be in any selection tool, by the way. I can be off my selection tools because I don't want to create a new selection. All I want to do is pick up this mask. And so let me go a little bit bigger here. I just want to pick up the same mask I used to turn her jacket purple. Right? It was orange and I made it purple. And this I did last week. So do I have to do the whole mask again? No. Command or Control and then single click. And there we go. My mask is all set up again. And now my selection is ready for me to do a different thing. So maybe now I'm going to use, like you said, the exposure or a different one, right? And then I'll go over here and I'll make that much darker or much lighter, right? So I'm just throwing out how to use that same mask to do something else to it. Does that make sense? So you simply Control or Command, click your mask, and that picks up the selection again. And then you use that selection to create a different adjustment layer. Okay. So back to my today's share, which is this one. So now I can, with this selection that I just picked up from here, I can go and make, what will I do to this one? I will add some vibrance to it. And I'm gonna make it a more saturated blue. So this one here is a vibrance mask and this one here is the color mask. Okay, and I didn't have to redo that. And the good news about this is that if it was wrong before, it's still wrong. But if it was a good one that you did, then it picks up all the good stuff with all the corrections that you made. Okay. Any questions about that? Were you all able to pick up your selection from the existing mask and make another adjustment to it? Sabrina, that should be working on VDI. So go ahead and share your screen again. So let's see what's happening there. Oh, you're not on VDI, you're on your own computer, but that should be working. That's not a task that that's hard on a computer. So let's see what's happening.
How did you invert the mask?
What's that?
How did you invert like mine is still white.
I didn't invert it. Go ahead and share your screen so that I can.
Okay, yeah, I never could get the whatever that
The initial
selection
kind of-
tool, the
okay.
object. Yeah, so I was trying to use the quick.
Just use
selection.
the quick selection for this. It'll be the same. The
Okay.
object. Mhm.
Go ahead.
I'm not seeing your share. Are you sharing?
There you go.
Okay.
So see how this is
So,
white.
all right. So you have, yeah, your mask is empty. There's nothing there. Like you don't have a mask going on. So that means you did it without a selection. So you can't use this one that's working right now. You got to get rid of that hue saturation mask that you have there. So just right click or select it and go down to the, yeah, you can go to delete all the way up on top if you want and then say, okay. All right. So now you have a new selection there. Okay. So now go and create a mask. Hue saturation, good. Move the slider,
Oh.
move the slider to give it a new color. Let's see how
Okay.
the mask now, having a selection, then the mask does show itself as black and white. That's why I meant that you didn't have that.
I
Now,
see.
say that now you want to add a different one. You don't have to reselect that. Now hold down your control key and then click your mask. There you go. And see how your selection popped up again. And now you can make a different one. Now you can make, in this case, you made another hue saturation. So there's one on top of the other, but yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. All right, cool. I knew this one had to work. That's why I was like, no, something else is happening there. All right. So did everyone get that? Y'all got a two adjustments done with just one selection, so to say. Let me actually get clear your feedback now. Simar, go ahead, guys, and maybe do another one, pick up that selection again and do another one, or choose this time with the quick selection tool, maybe just choose her gloves and change her glove. Well, actually not her gloves, change the background blue. The gloves are white and white is different. I'm going to show you a different tool. So go to the blue background on the bottom and maybe change that blue background while I get Simar to get the files. So Simar, I know you weren't here last week, but have you downloaded the photos though from the first day of class? Your sound is off. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Did I download the pictures? No.
And
Because
you
I
have your,
tried. I'm in Google Drive right now.
okay, so share your screen so I can have you do it real quickly.
How do I share my screen?
Okay, so go to the big green button that says share screen on the bottom. Cool. All right, so now scroll up to the top of this. Shared drive, go to shared drives. Yeah, it is, double click on that. And then put your mouse over right there where it says Fall Photoshop go right underneath that, like an inch folders. It says fall 22. Yeah, right click. And then download on the bottom. There you go. When it's finished downloading, and you might need to extract those files, let me know. But do you have Bridge opened up?
No,
Oh, you don't have Bridge. Open up Bridge.
how do I do that?
Do you own Bridge? You said you
No.
downloaded Photoshop, but how about Bridge?
I think I did.
Okay, so head down to your search for applications and write the word Bridge. It's not in Photoshop. Just go down to your computer taskbar and click on the search and search for Bridge. It's a different application. Write the word Bridge. There it is. So open it up. All right. So while Bridge is opening up, okay. Now head down first. We need to extract your files. Just say close. Okay, so head down to your computer's Finder. You know what? Yeah. No, not to that, to your Explorer, File Explorer. So do you know the File Explorer? The little folder on the right. Keep going. One more, that one. And go to your Downloads folder. Downloads is the third one on the left. Yep. Okay, so double click on that. And go up to the top and say extract all. And say extract. Yeah, click on extract.
Do I want to
Down at the bottom. No,
here?
it's okay. See, I say extract. It'll stay in your downloads folder. That's fine. Guys, I'm showing, I do want Simar to catch up with us, but please remember too that if you miss a class, watch the recordings. That is a class requirement, because now that the recordings exist, all right, we need to have them ready. Okay, so you're ready to go now. Open Bridge. This is for everyone. It's not just for Simar, by the way. It's just a reminder that I have. Okay, so now on the left side, go to this PC. So yeah, that one, this PC. All right, go to your downloads folder, double click. Okay, now where it says File Photoshop on the top left, grab that and drag it to your left. Grab it to, select that folder. No. Go back to where you were, fine. Yeah, so select that folder and drag it to your, stop. Right to your left, like right there, it says drag favorites here. Put it like half an inch more to your left. Yeah, a little bit more. Go down a little bit more. That whole box needs to fit into this window that you're putting it in. Whoops. Your screen stopped sharing. You were almost there. Hello? Are you still there? Simar?
I am on my laptop just shut down.
Oh, okay. So let me just show you really quickly then what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then when your laptop pulls up again, you can see it. So watch for a minute. So this
Okay.
is what I was trying to get you to do. So
Okay.
here I was telling you, grab that folder,
Okay.
whichever you have, and then just drag it over here,
Okay.
which says drag favorites here. Now mine doesn't say that anymore because I already did. But once you
Okay.
put it in there, then it just sits there and it's easy. Then you can just click and go to it. Okay. And
Okay.
then that's it. Or just double click. I was trying to put it in your favorites, but if not, just double click on that folder that says file favorites. But now you have to restart your computer, so I'll let you do that.
Okay.
And
Sorry
then when
about
you're
that.
up and running, no, that's fine. Yeah, keep things connected. Powers fail. All right, so let's keep going. And thank you everyone for the patience, but let this be a reminder, guys. Please watch your recordings when you miss a class. And please watch. Okay, Ken, I'll give you a hand. And if you have to, leave half an hour early, leave half an hour late, whatever it is that you need to do, please connect. And remember that if you do have to miss a class, just if any part of that day you can be here, like someone today mentioned they had to go to the dentist, they send me an email. But if any part of if the whole dentist is all morning, then that's fine. But if you can at some point connect, even at the beginning or at the end, then I can actually give you attendance versus missing the entire class. And then I can actually report your attendance if you watch the recording. So it's, you know, just that. Okay. So I'm going to continue. So hopefully, did someone do something with her gloves, with her dress, with the background I said to do? Okay, so here's the thing. When you tried to select your background with this, you might have discovered that it's not selectable because it only, like with this tool, it only selects something that might be obvious, like like a person. But you can have it select a piece that you want if you were to, with the same tool, right? We didn't even have to change the quick select. You can click and drag and make a box around the area, which in this case, what I want is that blue, right? So I make a box, I let go, and then the computer analyzes the area and discovers this area and says, oh, well, this might be what that area is that I'm trying to do. So once again, if you click and drag and make a box around an area, there's no clear object here. You select and the computer analyzes it and goes, oh, I guess this is the area. See how it did a good job? So either you change to a quick selection tool, right? And then you click in that area and it selects it fine. Or you train your object selection to select what you want by clicking and dragging, and it'll look and decide what can be an object in this area. All right. So both ways work. Now, if you use the quick selection tool and you click on both sides, then both of them get selected. Now you have the blue in the background. So the quick selection tool was the second one, the one we used the other day. Okay. And so as long as you don't touch anything that's not part of your color of your, you know, like if I were to come over here and touch any with my mouse, because I have a huge selection tool, if I touch some of this white, then it gets really confusing. It doesn't know what to choose. But if I just touch blue and do a single click and touch over here, and then I have to give it another click, then I got my two blue areas of the background. And now I can go ahead and make a new illustration of the background to change the color of the background that's down there. Now, changing colors when something already has a color, that's easier. What's harder is to change a color when you do not have a color. So now let's work on this dress and see if we can give this dress some color. Okay. So let's head over to the quick selection tool and let's see if we can select only her dress. Now, in this case, you might want to have a tool that's a little bit less big. Now, you don't want a tiny tool. You want something that will allow you to select the dress and not to run into something else. So how am I doing this? Who remembers when I'm making my tool bigger or smaller? What am I doing right now? What's the shortcut I'm using?
The brackets.
The brackets, yeah. So the keys on the keyboard that are the hard brackets, right? So if you look at your letter P, to the right of that, there's two keys, the open brackets and close brackets, okay? So to the left, I make it smaller, and to the right, I make it bigger. I can either click and hold and make it go fast, or I can just tap, 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 tap until I get it the size I want, okay? All right, here I'm letting Simar in with her other computer again. All right, so now I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to keep dragging, or I'm going to let go and click again until I finally have the dress covered. And for the most part, it worked well. The dress did work well, except for here, I can see that there's a bit of dress that didn't work. So I'm going to do Control or Command plus to approach and see how it didn't grab that little bit. So I'm going to make a tiny, tiny, tiny run here. I'm going to make my brush really tiny. And then I'm going to click and drag over this area again, because I want to make sure I get all her dress. So see, I can just keep getting tinier until I finally got that little bit. And then I can start when I go up, I discover, oh, well, actually, that's the glove and this is the dress. So I need to get that. And so with a smaller brush, I can go in and get more detailed. See what I mean? Because from afar, it looked fine. But then here, this little bit over her glove is also the dress. So I'm going to add this little piece. Does that make sense? So you go in and you look for the details that could be the dress. So that's clearly piece of the dress. I'm going to pick that up. And then that here, what do you think is happening there? Here, the tool is having a hard time distinguishing because here's her waist, here's the glove, and that's the wall. So depending on how well or not your computer selected it, here I grabbed some wall background. So how do you change something that's too much? So if it's missing, I just kept ticking, but in this case, that was too much. So in order to get rid of something that I don't want, and again, let me move backwards and see what I mean. It's grabbed the dress perfectly fine, but it also grabbed, in this case, some of the wall. That's the background between her waist and her gloves. So we need to actually take away from the selection. Does that make sense? So we're not adding in this case, but we're taking away from a selection. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to hold down the option key, hold down the option or alt if you're on a PC and it's an alt. And now I'm going to take away. So watch, I'm going to click here. I'm not going to put my mouse. So just watch me first before you try it. I'm not going to put my mouse in the dress because I don't want the dress. I only want what I don't want. So I'm going to hold down the option key and then I'm going to touch with the edges of my mouse. I'm clicking individually like this until it finds the new edge. Does that make sense? I got rid of what I didn't want. And then here, maybe I need to go back in without the option and click a little bit again here to get a bit more of the dress. So you take away and you add with the option key, you take away, and with the letting go of the option key, you add to the selection until you get a good enough waist. Now, once you have done it, if it worked for you, let me know. If it hasn't worked for you, so give me a yes or a no. And I'm going to go over here again. And here we have the same issue where we need to get rid of some of that space between the waist and the dress. So again, I'm going to hold down the option key and then I'm going to gently approach this. And it kind of worked down here, but not so much here. So then I need to add. So we're going to have to find maybe some better tools, which I will show you for when you have to fix things. But there you go. Now this is much better. I have been able to select only the waist. I'm going to Command minus. Now I know that for some of you guys this might have worked and for some of you guys it might have not worked. So please let me know if it didn't work and I'll try to give you a hand. But basically, if I decide to add this here to the selection, it's added. If I want to get rid of it, I hold down the option key and whatever I touch like this is going away. It's going away. And so if I hover over the whole thing goes away, right? That's because I was holding the option or alt key, by the way, for the PC, option for the Mac. So again, I'm adding a piece and then I hold down the option and I slides away gently at it until it goes away. That's what we were doing here. We were getting rid of that little bit. Does that make sense? Now,
What tool is that you're using?
this is the quick selection tool. So
Okay.
down over here, we have, there's the fourth tool down, there's the object selection, quick selection, and the magic wand tool. So the middle one, the quick selection tool. Okay. This is the most automatic of all the tools. And as long as it works, it's great. It can be refined, but just at a first glance, it's one of the easiest selection tools to use. that's a little bit more targeted than the automatic one that chose the whole body. Yes, the whole body was easy to select, but not if you just wanted to go to the dress. So then you go to the quick selection tool. And now you have mostly the white dress. But since it didn't do a perfect job, then you refine it with adding a little bit more or taking a little bit more away. So now I'm not sure if everyone's got this down yet, but I'm going to go ahead and wait for you to answer. I cleared your answers. So give me a yes if, yeah, you were able to add or take away and you have her dress without the waist taken up. Give me a no if you don't, so I can give you a hand with that. Okay, Simar, were you able to open the file yet? Okay, let me add this mask here and then I'll help you open the file. So while people are working on refining their selections. Okay, so let's head over here to the, and just watch this bit, just watch this piece. I'm gonna do a hue saturation to show you why it's not a good idea. There's very little color here. So when I use the hue saturation to check, well, actually, here I'm saying how it's not gonna work. White doesn't work. I guess this was cream and it does work. Here I'm showing you why it doesn't work. It does give you very gentle, pale other tones. So I'm completely wrong. It does work because I was thinking it was white, but it's not white. But how can we add a color when you do have white or like this, a very pale color when you want something different? Now, instead of doing a high saturation, let's do a, now, yes, do this with me and head over to all these different choices that you have and choose this top one, the solid color. Solid color. And when you pick the solid color, it'll be set on some color in this whole spectrum that's over here. Oh, by the way, I didn't have me undo because I got rid of my selection. Let me go back. Oh. Because I undid that without saving my selection. I have to do my selection again. I'm sorry. That one worked. That one worked. Anyway, I'm not going to be precise because now I'm doing it. Okay, that kind of worked. All right. So it's not perfect, but it'll do the job. Okay. So now, the one that we want to do is the solid color. So click on solid color. And the first thing that happens is it tries to give you a flat mask of whatever color you're clicking on. So this color picker that pops up has two ways to be used. The first, you choose the color you want on this long bar. So I'm going to say that I want a pink or a purple or a green, you know, so you choose the general color you want. But then this here needs to be placed in what level of tone of that color do you want? Do you want bright pink? Do you want a light pink? Do you want, you know, middle point here of that color? So say that I choose that I want her to have a green dress. I'm going to choose some kind of green, an olive green here. Maybe a yellowish green. So then if I move over here and click and go up, I'm making it lighter, and down, I'm making it darker. And I move to the right, I'm making it more saturated, and to the left, I'm making it less saturated. So I know it looks flat, it looks weird, but that's okay. That'll be handled later. Right now, you're just choosing the general color that you want. So choose a tone of green that you want. I'm going to go ahead and go for, I don't know, about this light olivey kind of color. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more yellowish. I want to, it's not probably a color I like, but it's a color I want to make sure that's very different from what we had. There you go. So I'm going to go for something like that. So once you've chosen the color you want, you say, okay, right there. And now this needs to be adapted to the original dress information that was there, right? So there's a couple of different ways to do that. And one way would be going over here where my mouse, let me put the little color on my mouse. so you can see it better. So here I have my color fill adjustment layer, right? And then when I move my mouse up, it should be saying normal. So the word normal, when you click on that word normal, there's a whole bunch of choices that once I start blending, these are ways to blend the color into the original image, right? So I'm going to blend it. And in this case, see how you begin to see the original wrinkles of the fabric? I can blend it here. I can blend it. This is different ways of blending this layer into this layer. So that's what's happening. I'm blending this one into that one. Okay. So my flat color ceases to be flat and adapts to all the little shapes and wrinkles of the dress. And you stop, depending on the color you chose, one will work better than another, right? And so when you look at these, it makes things lighter. And since this dress was already pretty light, you probably need to go to the darken where it might give it a little bit darker. And I'm really liking this tone of dress here. So I might use that one. This bright green here might work better. I don't know. I'm kind of liking one of these too. I'm going to go for color burn. And now the color I chose was that green. The blend I did affected that color. Now, if I want, this is how it used to be, and this is how it is now. This is how it used to be, and this is how it is now. So I turn this little eyeball on and off to see the before and after. Now, if I want to change that color, I can still double click on this color and say, well, that was fine, but maybe instead of green, I want to make it blue. So now I start moving into other tones and to see what other kind of things might happen. What if I get myself a bright pink for this dress? So, okay, so I'm changing the color, but the burn and the blend is already happening. So that keeps working. So now I'm going to say, okay. And there you go. Now it's burning into a bright pink. And so this is the before and this is the after. And I've managed to give something with very little color that I had before. I managed to give it a new color. Okay. Now, once again, the process is twofold. I'm going to get rid of this again and show you one more time. You make your selection. You choose your color, which in this case, I chose the solid color. You end up with some flat, nasty stuff, and you have to choose the main color over here and then move this one around to find a suitable level of that color. And then once you say okay, and you have this little cutout figure, then you need to blend both of these together by heading over to this place where it says normal and starting to see which blend works for your dress. For your case, you can go down here, you can keep playing with some others. And in this case, I think that I still do like that color burn, looks really nice. So even with this blue, I kind of like that one with this dress, but maybe I'll make it a bit deeper in tone. And I say, okay, and there you go. That's the color I ended up choosing this time. All right, so now questions or people for whom this did or didn't work?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Alan speaking. My result looks okay, but my layers look completely different than your layers, so I don't know
Mhm.
what I'm doing.
All right, so go ahead and share your screen with me and I can see what's
Okay.
happening while people are working and playing with this. You can actually pick up that same selection, guys, and give it another layer of something else. And then Simara, I hope you find the file again. So let me see. You have your color fill. So yeah, that's good. You don't have the mask. That's interesting. You're not seeing your mask. So put your mouse over your right there on your layer where it says color fill. No, your layers. Yeah, actually, you just created a selection there. So say Control or Command D. You're on a Mac, say Command D. You created a little selection on her dress. So say Command D before we do anything else. There we go. Okay. So now right click on, put your mouse on the thumbnails. Yeah. And do a little right click. And then now on the little, go to the left of your thumbnail, like that one, yeah, and do a right click. Yeah, and then you have it on no thumbnails. See, so now choose a small thumbnail or a medium thumbnail. Yeah, and now you've got your thumbnails. Okay, you had it set that you couldn't see your masks.
Oh, okay.
Now you can see it. So now you have a better idea of what your mask is. Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See, there's certain things that I wouldn't know how to fix unless I see it, right? So by seeing it, I went, oh, you're missing your thumbnail. So that's why sharing is so important. All right, Simar, I see you on, oh, you're on one computer, but not on the other again. And you don't have sound. So if you're there still, looks like your connection is wavering because you popped in and out again. So I can't help you. All right, Rob, your hand
No,
is
I'm
up.
here.
Oh, you
I'm
are.
here.
Where? Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. So quickly share your screen again so that I can get you set up with the files, because now you have the files and everything. You just need to. All right. So go back to Bridge. And that's Photoshop, not Bridge. So go to Bridge. Yep. Click on Bridge. Perfect. Okay. So on the left side, go to this PC. And now double click on downloads. All right, now grab this before you click on it. See, move your mouse to the left where it says this PC, SBC. See how on the bottom it says drag favorites here? Right there. So grab this yellow folder and drag it down. Yeah, let go. Perfect. Good. Now click on that. And now you have it quick every time you bridge, click on that. And there's the class files. It might take a little second here, but they should be popping in. Oh, go back to Bridge. So one thing you missed, I was sharing yesterday, is that you want to, no items to display. Okay, here, let me do this. I'm going to request remote control because since we did this for the first and second class for a long time with everyone, and now I want to continue with the class, let me just work on this for you for a second here. Okay. Thank you. Now don't move your mouse so that I can grab the stuff. So let me see. Your downloads. Hello. This folder is empty. Why would it be empty?
The one above it says compressed. So
Let me go to this and decompress. You do have the files. So let me go back. The files are there, but not in this folder. So let me go backwards. And backwards one more time. And extract again. And extract. And then go over here and okay. So now when I go to your downloads. All right, so it should be showing now, but it was showing before too. All right, let's see. Okay. Remove from favorites. Okay, so that's the right folder. Okay, there you go. So now you can just double click on this guy. And then, well, I just did it for you and it should open up in Photoshop. And so there you go. That file is opening up in Photoshop with your Photoshop. here to the middle. And let me get you on the right photography setup, and you're ready to go. Okay, sure, you're set up now. Let me just really quickly catch you up by giving you the quick right selection. I don't do things for people normally, but in this case, I really need to move forward. She missed the last class and didn't get the setup, and I need to get her set up so that she can follow with us. So now with this tool, you can go ahead and kind of do a quick selection. Don't make it perfect. Make you a hue saturation here of some kind or another. And there you go. So that's just so that you have the mask. Okay. Now with that mask, from now on, you can just follow the rest of the class. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Stop your share. There we go. All right. So Rob.
I highlighted her dress.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
went to the color picker,
Mhm.
and the dress turned black, and I have no control of the colors.
Right. So share your screen. I don't have you. Yeah, you've shared your screen with me before. But go to the big share
I'm on a
screen.
different.
Oh, that never works. When you guys have two computers, which by the way, that's a good solution, because before you didn't have, you need to connect with both computers, because then when you're in trouble, like I would have never been able to help Simar or Alan just now to find out. I need to see your work. So, but I can still show you on mine in this case until you connect to the other one.
That'll be fine.
So, but it's just
Yes.
not as easy. Now, when you choose the color picker, as I said, when you said it was just black, it's because you were down there. So you need to put your mouse and click on some portion over here, and then you start getting colors. Does that make sense?
Oh.
So you have to click both
Oh, yeah, I
here
see.
and here. It's two places you need to choose. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this was easy to show because it was something that's showable, but other things like when Alan said it's not working and I had to see what was wrong, right? So you need to have the computer you're working with connected so that when it's something that's not showable, I can help you. All right. So don't forget, when you have a chance, go ahead and connect to this one. Now, cool. All right. So everyone, have you all changed your settings for her? Hopefully maybe someone got inspired into doing the wall and doing some more. Like right now I have, let me just show you. I'm going to turn all these hue saturation layers off, and this is the original photo, right? So here I have changed her hat, here I have changed the wall, and here I have changed the dress. Okay, so I've changed 3 different things. All right. Now you could recognize the shapes in the masks, or you could double click the name and say what it is. So I can double click here on the word hue saturation and then change this to hat, right? And I could change this one, double click and call it wall. That would be more helpful. The only thing is you might want to know if this is a hue saturation or a levels or a, color fill kind of adjustment layer. Then in that case, you could just double click and add to the color fill. You might want to see color fill dash dress, for example. And then that until you learn the different kind of, so you can double click and instead of wall, call this one hue dash wall, for example, that you change the hue of the wall or something like that. That's up to you what you want to call your things, but go ahead and change your names just to learn to change your names. So double click on, you have to point not to the background, but really point to the actual name and double click. And then it gets highlighted and you can delete that and change it for whatever else you want. Wall color, for example, or whatever it is that you want to call this one. Or you can call it wall dash hue saturation, right? So it's very important once you start having a lot of layers to begin to name them. so that we can begin to, so that we can actually control and know what it is that we're working with. Because if later I go, well, I'd rather change that wall, I don't want to have to decide which of all those 5 masks. Sometimes it's very clear, but if you have little spots here and little spots there, they all look the same, you'll have to turn things on and off until you find what it is. So putting a name is really useful. Yes, Sabrina?
Hi, so I zoomed in on where I had edited the color of the glove and realized that I missed a finger. Is
Okay.
it possible to edit the mask?
Yes. So if I actually pay attention to mine, if I zoom in, I probably have too much. See, and I'm noticing here that I actually have too much finger and you have too little finger or whatever it is, right? So yes, you can keep editing. And the whole point is when I'm up at 400%, things look weird, but remember that at 400%, I'm seeing more than I should be seeing. So it's okay if certain things are a little bit off, like this looks a little bit strange, but clearly this is not a very good, and I'm going to get really close to this hand, and everyone please do so. Once you approach your hands, you'll discover, with that quick selection tool, you probably didn't do a very good mask. You did a good enough mask, but not a very good one. And so remember, this is a perfect segue, by the way, because that is what was coming next. Remember what we did last week to modify a mask with our brush? And now I'm going to share last week here. Remember that we worked on getting more or less of her jacket colored? And let me remind you that how we did that. We went into her mask, just as a reminder, because it triggers your memory. We chose a brush. Okay, so I went for a brush, which is the B. And then now, are you remembering now? When we chose a brush, what did we do with that brush?
Paint white or black. I guess white to add to the selection.
Yeah, we painted either black or white into our mask, right? So let's do this. I'm gonna just have a big brush here as a reminder. And if I wanted, and this is in a different resolution, so this was the colors that I had, black or white. So if I'm painting black right now, right there, on a black and white mask, if I paint room, I'm eliminating, right, part of this mask. This is just a review of last week, but I'm aware that some of you weren't here, so I'll go a little bit slower and explain it again. Oh, but what did I want to do if I wanted to actually add to that selection? I just didn't do that. I had to switch from black to white. So who remembers the shortcut to switch from black to white?
X.
The X. So I'm going to hit the letter X and you'll see how now the foreground turned white. And then I can add over here some changes of color. That's because I'm adding more black. So I'm going to go ahead and I know some of you don't have this file if you weren't here, but I'm going to just remind you that this is my mask. Okay. And if I paint white on black, I make a hole in my mask. If I switch back to black and I paint on black, I see nothing, but I paint on the white. Now I am fixing that hole in the mask, right? So in order to get rid of something that's too much or to add something that's too little, we use black and white on our mask. So say that I needed to fix something here because it's too big, I just paint some black. And if it's the other way around, because I needed more of this, I would paint with white and I would do that, right? So that's how we added or took away. So now, very specifically, and by the way, Simar, you definitely need to see last week's recording to get the complete explanation of this because we did it really slowly and it was very clear. Right now, I'm just doing a quick review and I know that this can get confusing if you don't. I'll spend a bit more time on it right now, but let me show you the practicality of it. Let's go here and make sure that you are selecting the mask, okay? Not this part of the layer, which is the properties of the mask, but the actual mask. So there's white edges surrounding the mask. Once your mask is selected, go and select your brush. So we're going to go to the brush, but the easiest way to pick up your brush is to click on the B for your letter B, and that's the brush, because there's so many things that look like brushes. But if you hit the letter B on your keyboard, then you get the actual brush tool. Okay. Once you have your brush tool, you need to make sure what size your brush is and what softness your brush is. So that's under here. And in this case, I have a very soft, 0% hardness means very soft, versus 100% hardness is very hard. This is all review. I spent like 3 hours on this. And again, I'm telling people who missed it, so please watch last week's recording, but I'll keep. So I'm going to choose a mask that hardness that's, I don't know, let's say about 75 and see if that works. And now I'm going to go over here and make my mouse smaller with the letter P. Okay. And now I have my mask ready to go. And let's see. What color am I painting right now? Here is black. So look at your mask. Think about this. I'm going to double click this. Look at my mask. My mask is just, let's analyze a mask. Okay. Just so you really begin to understand it. I changed this dress and made it from, let's say, off-white or cream, ivory, who knows what this is, to blue. If you have a brighter color here, it'll be easier. If you bid a subtle color, this will be harder to do, right? So make sure you have an intense color so you can easily see what's wrong. I can easily see that I've got color on her gloves. Yeah, that didn't need to happen. And extra color here, that didn't need to happen. So what is changing color? The stuff that's white on my mask or the stuff that's black on my mask? What is changing color? What's going blue? This is the original color, and now something is blue. Look at my mask. What changed? The white stuff or the black stuff?
White.
White. Okay. So the white stuff is what's giving me blue, right? The black stuff is what's saying, no, don't turn this into blue. So that's my mask. It's saying, don't turn the gloves and the wall into blue. And the white stuff is, yes, please turn the dress into blue. Does that make sense? So now that means that if I want more blue, I have to paint more white. And if I want less blue, I have to paint more black. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to look at my mask here to analyze what I need to do. And I go, I want to get less blue. I don't want these fingertips to be blue. So that means I need to paint black. So do I have black in my foreground? Yes, I do have the foreground color black. If not, go to the X and get black, but I do have black. So now I can go over here and I can start clicking around here and painting only blue. Oh, I have my opacity at 100%. And I click over here, and what I'm doing is I'm painting some black into my mask. And I'm going to just gently paint black onto those fingers that shouldn't have gotten blue. Right? And then I'll go, wait, but some of this should have been, should have been blue. That's not blue. So like that stuff that's in between those fingers should have been blue because she's grabbing the dress. So then I switch to white. And now I have to make a tiny, tiny little thing. And I'm going to paint some more blue in here. So I'm going to click in here and make sure that I think this, I don't know if these are fingers or if this is more of her dress. I think it's more of her dress. So this over here still needs to be blue. So I am fixing my general quick selection mask. I am now fixing it. And now I can go all around the edges, fixing my mask, adding blue when is necessary or white when it's not necessary. So by switching from black to white. So I'm going to switch to black now to make sure that this edge is a little bit cleaner because I had too much blue on those fingers. Does that make sense, you guys, what I'm doing? I'm adding white or black to fix. Now, I'm not sure if this should, I think this should be blue now that I really analyze this. So I'm going to actually paint this little thing blue. It's the piece of dress that she's grabbing. Or is it her finger? I can't really tell in the photo. It's supposed to be her finger or her blue, but I'm using that. So then you can go around the rest of the image and keep fixing that. I think some purple went into her dress over here. See that in here? So I might want to switch that and paint a little bit more in there. I'm going to go to the other hand, and yeah, clearly there's some work needs to happen here in this hand. Now it all looks a little bit weird because I'm at 400%, which means I'm very, very zoomed in. But once I fix this and I zoom out, this should look good. So I'm changing from black to white, white to black, black to white, white to black, according to where I need to fix it. So what am I switching black to white or white to black? This color right there. Black, white. This is with my X key. Black, white, black, white. When I need black. And if I make a mistake and I put black out here and I go, oops, that was wrong. It's very easy to fix, right? I go ahead and put black and paint over it again and get rid of that, which I shouldn't have added. Okay. So now I have a very small mouse right now, so it's complicated. But so now I can get rid of what I don't want if I added too much, or add more of what I want if I added too little. So that's the beauty of mask making. The general selection that you do is good enough. And then you approach and do this kind of stuff. Now, again, don't get too crazy in the sense that you have to remember that you are looking at this in a very huge perspective. And really all you need is Control or Command 1. That's where it needs to look good, right? So I'm looking at these gloves and at Command and Control 1. I think those gloves are looking good now. Let's go and see what happened to the other parts of the dress. So again, I'm going to zoom in a bit to have a better perspective. And I'm going to hold down my space bar, keep scooching up, and I'm like, this is a little bit weird. So let me see if I can fix this with my mouse. So then I'll start adding a little bit to the areas that I want. Or see, I see some blue peeking into her glove over there. So now I'm going to take that blue out of the glove, right? So you just keep painting white or black according to what you're trying to do or fix. Okay, so this is how you manipulate a mask with that white or black. Now, I did talk to you last week about percentages, I believe. I'm not sure if I did, so we're going to get more into detail now, but we're going to do a practice that's going to let everyone who didn't practice this last week, we're going to let everyone get a little bit more comfortable with this. But first go around the whole edge. And when I go around the edge, I go, there's some color here leaking into her skin. See that? I don't like that. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit. And when I start trying to clean it up, if I make a mistake and I go too far in, like, then just go back and cover that up by switching back to black. Okay. And then back to cleaning up that edge. And then here I went a little bit overboard, so I go back, etc. Okay. So that's the preciseness is going to be. It takes some practice, right? And here's where I'm going to give everyone the talk about the mouse versus beyond a stylus. Okay, so I have a stylus, and once it's not that easy at first to use it, but once you get accustomed to it, the stylus is like drawing with a pen or a pencil, and it's much easier. Have you ever tried to write your name with a mouse? It's a disaster. So when you want to start getting into details like this, the mouse at some point might get not enough. And at the beginning, some of you guys was using just your finger on the pad. And I said, finger is also maybe not as precise. So you might want to consider a pen. So right now I'm using a pen, and it's going to make it much easier to be really accurate here. Okay. Versus having to battle with a resistant mouse. I went over. Okay. So now I'm aware that some of you guys did not do this last week. So, oh, no, that was part of the dress. Dress had a little hump right there. So I'm going to give you some examples that might make it a bit easier now by using the mask on its own. But again, this is like the crucial, this is pretty crucial, what I taught last week and that we're practicing right now. We're going to keep doing a lot. This is really what distinguishes Photoshop from a lot of other programs where you can really get in here and be very precise with your masking, with your changing. So I'm going to go back to command 1 to look at the dress. And I think the edge of her neck is much cleaner now. That's looking good. Okay. Now, for anyone who this did work, give me a yes. For anyone who it did not work, give me a no. And for anyone who has a question, let me know. And I believe your hand was up, Sabrina, or was it from before? Okay. All right, so give me a yes if it's working for you. The whole use a brush and go right and left, add or delete from the mask with the black and white. If you really, it does not work for you or you need help with it, give me a no. And then let me check in with people who aren't answering. Like Megan, how are you doing? If you are talking to me, Megan, your sound is off, so I can't hear you. So unmute yourself. We're about to go on a break, so I want to make sure that everyone, before we go on a break, that everyone is up to speed with this. So, okay, I don't hear from Megan. If you're speaking, I can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. If you're not speaking because you're not hearing me, then that's different. All right, Simar, how are you doing? Were you able to do this on the mask?
No, I'm still kind of stuck in the initial
Okay.
part.
Yeah, well, you know, you didn't do this last week, so that's fine. I expected, I assumed that you would probably not be there. So go ahead. I'm going to stop my share. Go ahead and give me your share and I'll help you do it.
I'm here and trying to
Share your screen.
Do you see my screen?
No, not yet. If you do share screen and then you have to share again, at the bottom right, there's another little share and it's 2 times. You need to click share, the big green button, and then on the bottom right, another share. Yeah, perfect. Now it's coming up. I'm seeing a black screen, but there it is. Okay. So now, you're still using your quick selection tool, right? So
Yes.
that means that the selection is, but you just had a better selection. You just clicked again right when, so you're still selecting their stuff. See how your selection is going up? So you need to back off. So go ahead and go to control, what are you on a PC? Yeah, control 0, I'm sorry. So we can fill your screen. Hold and control, there we go. Okay, so now let's undo that, but not by going to minus, but just, yeah, you can go to edit, undo, or the shortcuts, of course, which is always Command or Control Z, but you can do one more undo. So click on edit and undo again. Just so you know, I'm always going to teach you the shortcuts, right? And so if you see there where it says undo, on the right side, it'll say Control Z. So that's the shortcut that for undo. So you can hold down the Control key and then tap the letter Z again and until it works out. Okay, perfect. So now see how you got rid of that little extra thing. Now the reason that's happening is because you're still in your quick selection tool, but you've already selected, so there's no need to be in that tool anymore, right? I mean, well, I think I did the selection for you. I clicked on the selection, but your selection tool is still up there. So now change to get rid of this selection. You have a hue saturation there. Go ahead up to select and say deselect up at the top, or Control D. There it is. Good. So now your mask has been made. Now you need to see how to fix it. So we need to see if it needs to be fixed. Now you can see in your case, since I did a quick selection, that you still have like the around her waist, you have the background wall has been colored purple. So let's zoom into that with a Control plus. Let's hold down the Control key and hit plus a few times. Okay, there you go. Now you're much nearer. So now you need to get rid of that stuff there, right? So first of all, go and choose your brush tool, and the brush tool is that one there. Yeah, perfect. Brush tool. Now let's go up to the ways that you can modify your brush tool. So go up to the top of those. Yeah, click over there. Click on that. And you have a very soft tool, and that's not going to be good because this needs some pretty defined edges. So go maybe up to 80%. And y'all will slowly get a feel for what is the right amount. But the edge of this waist needs to be pretty sharp. If I have a very soft tool, it won't work. All right. And then now on your layers, go over to your layers on the far right and choose your mask. So go to the hue saturation layer that you have over there, and choosing your mask up, keep going up where you have your layers where it says background. Go to the little image of your, go to the word background, keep going down somewhere in the middle of where you are. Down, 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 down. Yeah. So see where it says background? Click on the word.
No, I don't.
Oh, you have the zoom stuff in the way.
Yes.
Do that, move that out of the way. There you go. I need to show you how to, I need to show all of you how to,
It's still there.
yeah. So the zoom stuff that's showing us at the top of all of our faces has like little lines, bigger and smaller. Click on the flat line to minimize that little zoom box. So you only see one face.
Okay.
Now I'm talking not Photoshop, but zoom. Go and click on that little minus, and then the zoom should turn into one. Is that better now?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so now go back to the layers then on the right side where it says background. Yeah. Now, right above that is your hue saturation layer, right? And the mask is that black and white piece. So select your mask. Yeah, good. Your mask is selected now. All right. So now you selected the other side. So go back to select the right side. Yeah, I really request, so Simar, I beg you to spend make time this week. You have to go and do the whole class we did last week, where I really clearly did this whole conversation so that you can be, on top of things next time. Now you're in the mask portion of your layer. So now you can put your mouse on top of her dress. Okay. And you need to make it much smaller, right? No, you hit the P, the letter P. So you're on your pen tool. So go back to the letter B for your brush. You changed your tool to a pen. You clicked your letter P. So go and click the B for your brush. Good. Now it's not the letter P, but to the right of the letter P is the brackets. Okay. So now make your tool smaller by holding. Yeah, there you go. That's the smaller. Perfect. Okay. Now, the color that you've got is white on your tool. At the bottom, you see foreground and background is white, and you need black. So hit the X to change it to black. Good. And now go and draw. Yeah, start. Yeah, see how that's turning back into, you're not painting yellow, you're just getting rid of purple, and what you're getting underneath is wall color. Does that make sense? So now you keep going up and down so that you take the color off of her waist. Okay.
Got it.
And then on her arm too, because her arm also has purple, and so that's how you get that. And then if you go overboard and you go into her dress, then you have to switch back to black to fix inside her dress. Does that make sense? Okay, so don't. Cool. All right, keep working on that. I'm going to stop your share. All right. Does anyone else need a hand before we go on break? Did the going black and white work? Rob, how are you doing? I can't see your stuff yet, but your sound is off, so I can't hear you.
I think I have too many layers.
It's possible, but you can't
So
share.
should I just delete some and?
Yeah, since I can't see it, I don't really know.
Okay.
We're going to do a break right now. Can you work on getting your computer that has Photoshop onto Zoom again?
I'll try, but I might lose Photoshop.
What do you mean?
Once I get out of Photoshop, I don't know if I can get back in, tell you the truth.
Well,
Because
once you have
today's the
this-
last day for the trial.
Oh, but I said I would help you with that. So, well, in an email, I asked you if you could stay after class so that I can try to help you with that, remember? So no, but you're not gonna lose Photoshop. I'm not asking you to close Photoshop. I'm asking you to connect
Okay.
to Zoom in that computer. So Photoshop should
I'll
stay
do that.
on. Yeah. And then
Okay.
when we come back, you can share with me and I can see if you do have too many layers or not, because that's the problem with explaining. I don't know if you have too many layers or not because I can't see them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
if
I'll
that
do that.
computer has Zoom connected to Zoom, I know that before we had issues with Zoom and Photoshop at the same time, but as long as it's connected to Zoom and it's in the background, it won't be an issue because you're still watching me through your other computer now. So that's
Okay.
fine. You won't have the issues you had before. And then, but you will be able to share your screen. Okay. All right, guys. So Ken had asked, this is a good time to do a screenshot before we go on break. And Ken had asked me to explain again how to do the screenshots. So let me explain. Let me first share my screen. First of all, let me put the Padlet link again. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to post this work on Padlet. So I am going to give you the Padlet link one more time. So I just gave you the Padlet link. And now I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I shared the wrong screen. Hold on. I'm going to share my VDI screen is the one. So for PC people, how do you do a screenshot? So Ken, are you there?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
good.
here.
All right. So head down to the little search bar on the PC and click there, type here to search and put the word snip. Oh, spent.
Right, and since I'm on VDI, I'm putting the word snip on my own computer, not the,
Oh, okay. You
Right.
can, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. So if you're not on,
Okay.
you could, it's easier if you don't have it on VDI. So on your own computer, is it a Mac or a
Right.
PC?
it's a PC.
Okay, so do this, but do it not on your own. Do it on your own instead of on VDI, okay?
Right,
So right snip.
right,
Ah, wow, I'm not in. And then choose your snipping tool.
right,
And then when the snipping tool opens up, it looks like this, just say new right there, click on
Right.
new. And everything goes kind of ghosted, weird, right?
right,
And so ignore this box, it doesn't matter. Click and drag across your screen of what you want to share. So in this case, I want you all to share your changed colors and your layers, okay? And that will help, including Rob. This would be another example of how to show me your layers. If you think you have your many, do a snip now and show me by posting. So then this little snip has to be saved. You have to go to File, Save As, and then save it on your desktop, right? And then, or wherever you want to save it, but for most people, it's easiest to save on their desktop. So here on the left side, put it on your desktop, and then say save. Right? You don't even need to change its name, and that's all you need to do. So this is PCs.
I'm doing file save.
Yeah, File, Save, or Save As. And then choose where to put it. You can choose wherever you want to put it. The desktop is easy because then you can delete it. But so for those of you who are wondering how to do this on a Mac, okay, and then I'll show you how to post it. But if on a Mac, you can do a shortcut, Shift, Command, and 4, and then do like this and surround the layers and the color change and let go. And on the Mac, it automatically, that snip goes to your desktop. It just does it automatically. Okay. And then go click on the link that I put in the chat, right? And that's going to take you to Padlet. Hold on, because here I was in this image. So I need to get out of it. You'll be in Padlet. So I'm already seeing some of you guys posting the colors. Okay. And so right here, what you're going to be doing is I'm going to go into this little plus down here. And then I'm going to go search from my desktop. Click on here and go to my desktop. And in this case, there's my screenshot. And I'll say open, and it pulls up. Don't forget to put your name, Deanna, and then publish. So Ken, do you want to share your screen so I can help you figure out where your stuff went? Look at that. Or did you get it? So I need to see everyone's, I'm only seeing Monica and Mary's and oh, here's Saul over there. Okay, so I need to see everyone's snips here. So if you need help with your screenshots or your snips, please let me know. Now look how Monica uses this by write down the steps that it took. So it's a great reminder when she looks back what it is that how she had to do it. So that's awesome. Okay, here's Sabrina. All right. Anyone need help with this? Ken, did that work, or do you want to share your screen so I can help you?
Let's see. I've got to get out of something here.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
So Simar, go ahead and put yours up too. Everyone needs to put their stuff up because that's how I also, in a way, do attendance. It's this class is a grading that you get is for participation, and the only way I see if you want your participation is by your by what you put up here.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen, Ken?
Yeah, just a second here. So you see my screen?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Okay.
So did you do your snip yet, or do you need to do your snip still?
Well, let me do it. Let me do the snip again.
Since you're sharing this window only and not your desktop, I can't see. I won't be able to help you post it. Well,
So
we'll see.
So now I'm just doing the snipping like this, right?
Looks like you're in Photoshop. That's not a snip. I can't, you're only sharing a window. You're not sharing it. You need to share your desktop so that I can actually see your snip. This is just Photoshop that you're sharing. And if you're just sharing Photoshop, I can't see the rest of your screen. So here, I'm going to stop your share again. And when you do a share again, go ahead and this time choose the top left choice, which says desktop, the most top left choice, and then I'll see everything. And then I can actually help you.
Okay. Okay. So, okay.
There you go. So now I'm seeing everything. Okay.
Okay.
So now go down to type here to search.
Right.
And snip tool. Perfect. Open the snipping tool. Good. Now say new. Click on new. Cool. And everything goes kind of grayish, right? So now, no, don't close that. Don't close that. That's in the way. It doesn't matter. Now go ahead and put your mouse on the left. And then move to the right. Ignore this box. It doesn't copy itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So click on the top of that. Yeah. And then go to the right and grab your layers as well. Although, yeah, you will have actually Zoom in the way.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. You're selecting now. Go down. Move your mouse down now. Move your mouse down. Keep going. Don't let go of your mouse. Keep going down now. Down, down. Yeah. Select. Keep going until you see what you want to share. If you want to keep sharing your layers, maybe, but you have the Zoom stuff in the way. So maybe
the Zoom's in the way.
That's okay. So this is fine. This is good enough for your snip.
Okay.
Do that. Later you can practice move Zoom away, but right now, there you go. Now this bit is your snip. So this is what you need to save. So go to File, Save.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Save as. Yeah. And put that in your desktop. There you go. Just say save. It's going to be called capture. You already have one, so it's going to go over. Unless you want to keep it in the future, it doesn't matter because these are just to post to me. So cool. So now you can Good. So now you have it on your desktop. So you can close this one. You don't need to see it anymore. And then, oh, you stopped your share.
Oh.
All right, but that's okay, because now what you need to do it, I don't need to see, you need to go to your Padlet, right? I put the link again on the chat.
Right.
Click on that. And then in the Padlet, you get to go and oh, look at that. Linda's color vanished. That's bizarre, because I see all your colors are up. I don't know. Go to your history and see if you changed maybe to black and white. That's weird. Is your Photoshop still showing the colors? Is it just the screenshot change color, Linda?
No, it's Photoshop. I did the Control Z, I was trying to do a screenshot using commands for Mac.
Okay, go to the history and undo, because maybe you did a
It
shortcut
doesn't,
of.
it doesn't do anything. It just.
Okay,
still
then
looks like-
share your screen. Then there you go. Ken, I see your screenshot now. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll have
You're
to
welcome.
change devices, so I'll
Oh,
be signing in with something else.
okay. So let's go on break, and when you come back, maybe you can share that device so that I
Okay,
can
all right.
see
will
what
do.
happened. Okay.
right.
So, all right. Simar, do you need help with the screenshot? You just saw, you're on a Mac, you're on a PC, right? So you just saw what I
yes,
did
please.
with Ken to do a screenshot of your screen. You haven't posted yet. So in the past, yeah, at the beginning, the first
'Cause
day
I
you had
was-
posted, yeah.
Still stuck here.
Okay. All right. So that's the quick selection tool. You don't want that. You want the brush. So go be in your brush. Yeah, that's the brush. So click your brush. You're not in your brush yet. You need to go click on your brush, which is that one down there. Yeah, click on that. There we go. Now you have a selection that you had made before that you need to get rid of. So say Control or Command D, or go up to select, deselect if you don't want shortcuts. So you're back in your quick selection tool. So look what's happening on the left side. Look at the toolbar. That's not the tool we need. So it's never going to work. So yeah, so now you need to go back to your brush tool. Yeah, cool. And now that you're in your brush tool, great. Now move into the finger or whatever. And now you can go into that little, in the tip of the finger and paint, and you'll see it'll work or it won't work. It's either the right color or it's not. It'll either get more purple or less purple. So just click and drag, yeah.
Right.
Huh.
I was
Huh.
trying to select this part.
No, you don't need to select. You just need to paint now. So,
Oh,
right.
okay.
So now you just need to click and drag. And if
Got it,
it's working, see how it's getting purple?
got it. Got
Getting
it.
purple. It's just that you have so little color that it's a bit hard to see, but it is working in the darker. You can see what I mean? It's just that it's so light because your color is so light that you need to, it doesn't work as strongly, but you can intensify that color. And then for that one, you switch, there you go. You're getting rid of it. Perfect. So it's working. See that? It's working perfectly well. There you go. Now, if your mask was a stronger color, you would see that better. But yeah, it's working great. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
And now how do I?
Oh, I stopped your share, but
okay.
yeah. How do you what?
To snip it.
Oh, the snip. You're on a PC. Okay. So go back to that search. It's a different app you need to do. There should be a shortcut. Someone told me a shortcut for snipping on the PC once, and I had it written down. Someone who's a PC user, please look for a.
Is the print screen?
What's that?
Isn't the print screen?
I don't know, because I don't have a key. It's something on the keyboard. I don't know what it is. Someone told it to me once, but I don't have a PC keyboard, so I don't know what it is. I should look it up. But anyway, go down to the search and find the snip. I'm sorry. I don't, yeah, write the word snip. when you see me teaching someone else something that you don't know, please just follow the instructions as well. So then I don't have to teach everyone the same thing. You know what I'm trying to say? So now say new. Click on new. Good. And now you need to draw a shape to select. Unfortunately, you're not, well, you just go ahead and select the hand because it's your first snip, so it doesn't matter. Usually you would have to go down, click and drag. There you go. It's okay if you keep going, it doesn't matter. And just let go. Yep. And now, there you go. So now go up to save, say file save. Oh, the snipping tool has changed. It doesn't have a save on top. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. And then put yourself, I mean, wherever you want, but yeah, and then go ahead and say save. Okay. Now you can close that snipping tool. And now go to, go click on the link that I gave you for Padlet. Oh, Control N, says Sabrina. Okay, so PC users, try the Control N to see if that gives it to you. I don't know. So go to Padlet. No, Padlet is, you'll have to go to Padlet. Go to the link I put in. It's not there, Padlet's not there. So here, I'll put the link again. Click on this link that I just put in the chat. Do you see the chat? Are you seeing the chat that I just put a link? Simar?
No.
Okay, go to the link to the Zoom chat and click on that link that I gave you. Otherwise, you were right. You do have it there in the handouts. So you can go to the handouts and do it from there. You had gone to the handouts and I said no, but if it's easier for you, go to the handouts again in Google that you were doing. You need to.
I'm kind of stuck here, but that's okay. Yeah, let me figure it out.
Okay, so either go to the link that I put in the chat and click on that, and it should open up Google into the Padlet. Okay. There we go. And so now you can click on that plus sign at the bottom. Big old pink plus sign in the middle bottom of that window. You move smoke. You don't need to bookmark it yet. Just now to the bottom right, you have the big old plus sign now. Click on that, yeah, and then put your name at the top, say Simar, and then you can grab your first icon there. Not left, the first one, yeah, that one. And go to your desktop. And screenshot. And there you go. And then say publish. Cool. Later, you can be more targeted in what you screenshot, but there you go. It's up and running. Now everyone has a cleanup and a clean snip done. And sorry for the delay, everyone who's been wishing to take a break. The break has finally come. A little bit late, but we're getting it. It's 11:09. Usually break should be around 10:30, so I apologize. Let's take I can't figure out from 11:09, but from 11:10 I can figure 11:25. Wow, and the class finishes 11:55. So we really left it to the last minute. Can we do a short one? Can we just do a 10-minute break? Let's be back at 11:20. So I'm going to write that down. Be back by 11:20 a.m. Okay. So sorry, be a short break, but by delaying it so long, we're going to be almost at the end of the class soon. So, all right. See you guys in a little bit. All right. It's time to continue. Is everyone back? Oh, I see you're here twice now, Rob. Good. All right. Did you want to do a quick share while everyone's making their way back in? And let's see if we can go ahead and unmute yourself on whichever one that you're doing the sound so that we can talk. Okay, good. So now go to your other computer. Oh, we have the sound thing happening.
Yeah, see, I just deleted the speaker on one of them.
It's well, actually, it's not about just muting, but you're supposed to take the sound off, and had it been gone, I wouldn't be hearing. Well, someone else joined us. Could it be someone else's sound? No, you have sound on both. So go to the little icon of the mute button, and there's a little triangle to the right of it. There's a teensy triangle. And then you can say leave computer audio from one of them. One or the other you have to take the sound off. And that's the one that I'm listening to from. So maybe you might want to take the sound off of the other one. Whichever. One of the two needs to have the leave computer audio so that we don't hear this little feedback. For now, it's not so bad. So we can talk. Sometimes it's impossible to hear. So let's leave that. But go ahead and on the computer that you're working on, go ahead and let's see if you can share your screen. So you got to speak and tell me what you're doing so that I'm aware that if you're running into troubles or if things are good, just kind of walk me through it. All right, Rob, what's happening? Forget about the sound. It's not bad. Just to set.
Okay, I have Photoshop up and I have View on a side window.
Okay, so do you see the Zoom tools for share?
No, I can't see them.
Is that a PC or a Mac?
It's a PC.
Okay, so if you go to the taskbar and you click on Zoom, what happens at the bottom where you have like the tool, when you click on Zoom?
Well,
yeah, just tell me did something happen or not?
if I go to Zoom at the bottom and I click that, I get a small window with you on the side and Zoom.
Okay, and do you get any of the tools? Do you see the share screen, the mute, the chat, all those tools at the bottom? Do you see any of those tools?
Not at the bottom.
Yeah, this is, you know what? I forgot that this is the issue you were having on that computer to start with, which is I told you to get the first one. Because I want to be able to share, I want to be able to fix your Photoshop settings. You know what? Let's do this after class when everyone else isn't hanging out trying to get, okay? Because then it'll be easier to, so I've muted you so that I can hear you later because his Photoshop is still on this trial basis and he's about to lose it. So I need to help him with that. But I'll just do that with you and not with everyone else hanging out. All right. Let me share my screen. And cool. So someone joined us during the break. Oh, maybe it was your other computer, David Hill or something like that. But then looks like you changed your name. So I don't know who that David Hill was. Maybe it was one of you guys who changed your name back into the right name. Okay, great. All right, so I take it from what I've seen in the sharing in the Padlet that most of you have posted your icons and you're doing great with that. Let me actually go back to that for a second to show you something. Here's the Padlet. And I just wanted to say, if you guys, most of these are snapshots, screenshots, which is great. A few times I've seen the actual file be uploaded. Like over here, I'm seeing this, Rob, that you uploaded a PSD. So you actually grab the file that you're working on, the Photoshop file, PSD, and you put that up there. So look at the difference. When I try to click on Linda's to show something and share in class, I can click on it and it opens up so that I can watch it here, so that I can look at it and I can talk to you guys about the stuff. And I just see a screenshot and then it goes down and that's good. But if I try to work on yours, because you asked me a question or I want to share with it, when I open it, it doesn't open. The PSD downloads into my computer. So I can't share it with anyone else. And on top of that, I'm getting your PSD. It's like a way of sending me the PSD. So ideally, this is not the way to post in Padlet because I can't really look at it if you have questions without downloading it and opening it up in my computer. And you might have viruses and you're giving me a virus. So, ideally, we wouldn't be doing that. So if you need help, also ask me at the end of class and I can help you figure out again how to do the screenshots like I just helped Simar and Ken so that you can put screenshots up instead of the actual file. Okay. So will you remind me at the end of class to show you again how to do a screenshot, Rob? Yeah, because otherwise I might forget. And then so write it down or somewhere and let me know. And then Saul, are you there? Yeah. I just wanted to appreciate you guys, the energy here. Saul keeps going and keeps trying. So like here he did hue saturations on 3 different images. Like he was posting during the week. Here he did it on one of the rocks. Here he did it on this other rock window and something else. So this is great. Just practice the stuff. So he did this, by the way, while some of you are just waiting for me to help someone else, he's actually practicing on another image, right? And then he's posting that too. So that's the best way to learn, right? Because if I'm helping someone else and you're totally done, then see, well, what the skill that she just taught me, can I do it on something else? And that's what Saul did. He used the hue saturation here and he masked that there and he masked different skies and he masked the water. He put like 4 masks. So I highly recommend you guys doing that so that then you have more questions because, until you try, like here, Monica over the week tried some new things here and then she had a question. But if you don't try new things, you don't have your own questions. Got it? So I just wanted to point out the people who are doing that. That's the best way to learn. So good job, you guys. And hopefully I'm inspiring others in doing that, like moving outside of just what we're teaching, just the file that we're using. And then you can, that way you can learn more and have more questions. So now I want us to, sorry, I'm not on bridge. I want us to try something else about selection. So as you can see, the adjustment layers that we're using are relatively simple. One changed color in one way, one changed color in another way. It's not so much about the adjustment layer, it's all about the selection, right? How well you make your mask and then how you fix your mask in order to be able to modify different areas of an image. And so we're going to practice a little bit more, some selections, but I want us to make an empty file now so we can practice some stuff outside of an image. So go ahead and go up to File and say New. So we can go to File, New. We're creating a new file. And in Photoshop, this is rather rare to create a new file. Are you seeing my new document window? I don't know if it's sharing itself. Yeah. Sometimes different windows don't show themselves. Okay, so normally in Photoshop, you start with an existing document, right? It's really rare to start with nothingness. So if you do have to start with nothingness like we're doing, let's head over up here to the word photo, file new photo. And then the default photo that will try to show up is a 5x7, or you might have another file size. It doesn't matter. I just want an empty file of whichever way. So whatever you get here, let's just say create. And here we have an empty box. If you're here and you got a new file open, go ahead and give me a yes. If this didn't work for you, let me know and I'll give you a hand. All right. So Mary, Rob, do you have a new file? Simar and Rob? Okay, so
No,
go ahead.
I don't have the window, the
Okay.
file window, empty.
So if you go to the top where it says file, let me see on the PC, you have a PC, right?
Yes,
Let me head
I got
over
the
to my
file and I went to,
file open. File
went to
new,
file
sorry, file,
new.
not file new,
new
And if
file.
you- Yeah, and so at the top, do you see recent saved photo,
Oh, yes.
new document, click on photo. Okay, and now go to the bottom of that whole image and say create.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, cool. So now this is an empty document. As you can see, blank background, nothing else. So I'm going to clear your feedback now. All right. So what we want to do is we want to practice a little bit more, some selections. So let's go to the basic selection tool, which is this top, the second one down, which is the rectangular marquee tool. Okay. So let me get some color on my share again, spotlight. Okay, so the second one here is the rectangular marquee tool. Now, as opposed to the ones that we've been using down here, we've been using all of these automatic selection tools. This one is a handheld tool as much as this one is a handheld tool. And we use this one the first day. Now we're going to learn every of the handheld selection tools. Works a little bit different. So they all work the same amongst themselves, but they work differently from the automatic one. So I'm going to go ahead and with the basic rectangle tool, we're going to make a selection of nothing because there's nothing here, right? But I want us to be able to put something on this. So although this background is empty, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer, a new empty layer, as well as this empty layer down here. We're going to go to our layers, bottom, and click on this little plus sign right there, plus sign, and a new layer, a new empty layer will appear. Okay. So on this new empty layer, we're going to make a selection. So a selection of nothing is still a selection. So if you select a sky, a dress, or the whole glove, it's still a selection. So that's what we're going to do. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click and drag and select any old boxy area. And then we want to select a boxy area over here too. So I click and drag. And as you can see, when I selected this boxy area, the other one disappeared. And when I try to get this boxy area this one disappears. So every time you make a selection, no matter what shape, color, or form, the other selection disappears in every selection tool, except for the quick selection tool that we used last. So the only tool that doesn't do this is the one that we use to select the dress. But I want to show you how the rest of selection tools work. So when I want to select more than one box, I actually have to hold down the Shift key now. And now, yes, I can select and both selection boxes stay. Is that working for you guys? So the Shift key allows me to do more than one selection. I'm going to keep
when I
this.
add another layer, it just says that I'm add a mask and there's no.
Well, maybe because you added a mask. So say cancel to that. And the layer is the plus sign.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. The mask would be that one over there. So the plus sign. All right. So now if I forget to hold the shift key, now I've lost it all again, right? So you got to remember that the moment you click again without the shift, you lose it all. But as long as the shift is held down, then you can select 2 or 3 or 4 different things. Now, if instead of selecting 3 or 4 different things, I actually select something on top of this. So say I make another box here, these join the old selection. So this is what we call adding to a selection, okay? So if I happen to make a box here, that selection gets bigger. So this is joining a selection. So I'm going to add to my selection by joining some more of these boxes. And this whole thing I'm doing, why? Because I'm holding down the shift key. The moment I forget and let go of my shift key and try to do that again, boom, lost everything. All right. So now notice that when you have a selection and you put your mouse outside of it, you create another selection. And if you hold the shift, you add to it. But if you try to do it, move it inside of that selection, then what you do is you move the selection. Okay. So if you're out here and you want to add to this selection, you want to ideally start from the outside in and then way it adds. Now, if you are holding down shift though, that tool turns to add and it allows you to then add on top of it. But you have to have shift. If you don't have shift and you grab from the middle, instead of disappearing, what you do is you move your selection around. But if you click outside of it, it disappears. Does that make sense, you guys? So selection, hold the shift, select. If I now keep holding shift, I can do from inside or from outside, it doesn't matter. But the moment I click inside, it moves. The moment I click outside, it disappears.
Diana,
Yes, so
looks like it works for Mac only, but for Windows is without the shift. Because I tried with the shift and didn't work on my Windows, so I let go of the shift and it works.
to add. Oh no, it's not about Windows or Mac. You probably
move.
have, no, watch. You could not use the shortcuts, and up here at the top, you could have a different choice. Now I have this front one selected and that's why I'm doing this. But if you actually click on this second one, which is what maybe you have selected, then that adds to your selection automatically. And that's probably what's happening to you.
Yeah, I got it. Thank
You
you.
have that one. Now, the reason I don't like that myself, because then if you want to take away from the selection, which I haven't taught you how to do yet, you have to change your tool. You have to go up here and then you have to change your selection. You have to change your selection. So my way of doing Photoshop and teaching Photoshop is always how to do it the most efficiently. And the most efficiently is to use the shortcuts. Now, the shortcuts I'm teaching you are universal for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, every program you want, like Excel, if you want to add something, you hold the shift. So some of these things are so important to know anyway, that I'd rather you guys learn them versus find out about the different buttons up there, because the buttons you're going to forget. So if you keep it always on the first one, which is that one that automatically was there for everyone, then you add by holding down the shift key. And then how do you get rid of stuff from the selection? So I'm going to make a box so it's a bit clearer. So say I have a little box here and now I want to take a chunk out of it, right? So then I hold down the option key, option, and then I take a little box here and whoop, I've bitten a little chunk out of it. So this is the option, or the alt key for Mac people is the option. For the PC people, it's the alt. It's the same key, but it has a different name. So now I make another little box here and I take another little chunk out of that one. And I make a little box here and I take a chunk out of that one. So the option or alt is the minus tool and the shift is the plus tool. Does that make sense? Now this is constant. This, every program you're going to use, if you need to add or take away from something, all programs have this understanding that the option or alt takes away and the shift adds. So if you want to use Word and you're trying to select 2 different words, if you hold down shift, you're going to select 2 different words. Okay, so this is one of those universal computer type of shortcuts that you just want to know. Shift adds, option or alt takes away. All right, so now you can add some stuff and then hold down the option key and take away stuff. Okay, so is that working for everyone? Alt, an option is for taking away, shift is for adding. Alternately, like Elsa will had, that is, you would do that to add, and then you would go up here for taking away, and it just becomes so complicated. Just keep it in there and use the shortcuts. It's much easier. All right, so now go ahead and deselect by doing Command or Control D. So that gets rid of your selection instead of having to go all the way up to select and deselect. So there's some shortcuts you just want to know and learn because we use them all the time. Control or Command D is deselect. And now let's go ahead and try this with, let's click and hold. And instead of the rectangular tool, let's get the elliptical marquee tool, which is right under that. And this is the same, only it gives me a circle or an oval. So here's my first circle. Here's another circle. Here's another circle. And then if I hold down the shift key, I add. You can make a little Mickey Mouse ears. And then I hold down the option key. And this one's a little bit weirder because it's an oval. Hold down the option key and make a little circle. And I take that little chunk out. Take a little chunk out, go kind of tall and take that chunk out. Is that working? Now it's a little bit harder to control where that circle goes, right? At first when you're learning about it, but you know, it kind of will work. Now, what if I cut this in half with a circle like that? And then I have, once you put, you know, you basically take a whole bunch out, then you end up with two selections. If I hold down the shift, I can join them again, right? So I'm adding and taking away just with ellipticals. Of course, I could switch back now to my rectangular marquee tool and then hold down the shift key and add a little box to this. Okay, so they all work with each other. But now let's do a Control D or Command D when you're Mac or on a PC. And let's now choose the next tool down, which is the lasso tool, because this is the ultimate tool for controlling masking. Up until now, I've shown you to use black and white in the masks, but sometimes you need to make a selection that's very precise. And you're going to do it with this tool, the lasso tool. The lasso tool is the same thing that we've been doing, but it's a free form. You draw it. So if I draw this thing and I let go in the middle of nowhere, boom, it joins the part that I started in. So if I do this and I let go, boom, it closes itself to make that selection. You see that? Boom. But if I keep going and take it to the beginning myself, then I close it whichever way I want. Yeah? Does that make sense, you guys? So now, if I want to add to this, I hold down the shift and I'm going to add to that. And I'm going to add to that. And I'm going to add to that. But notice that I have to complete it. If I want to add this, and that's all I do, and I let go, it's going to go the closest way, and it left a little weird thing there. If I want to add this, then it leaves that hole there. So I need to actually complete my circle so that I can control, even though the only thing that gets added is out there. Does that make sense? You want to always be in control of the completing by trying to go as close as possible to the beginning. Oh, wow, that's weird. In the middle of my closed house, a bee just appeared right to the left of my hand. Yeah, I'd rather you move that way. Yeah, I don't want you right at my feet. Go. Have some fun somewhere else. Sorry, guys. I don't know where this bee showed up from, but move over. There's a door on the other side of the house. Go. All right, that was weird. Okay. So what I was saying is that with the shift, we can add stuff. And with the option, again, I can just be more controlled and take little chunks out, right? So now all of this, by the way, I'm always seem to be acting on the edges of stuff, but I can also take out from the middle. I could go ahead and make a little circle with my option key here. And I have taken this chunk out. So the only selected area is, it's kind of like I just made a little donut kind of a shape, right? So if I were to add any color to this right now so that you can really see what's happening there, let me go up to edit fill really quickly. Edit fill, and I'm gonna go ahead and say fill with my foreground color, which happens to be black. And I say, okay. Hello. Did I not say fill? Fill my foreground color, which this is my foreground color is black. Why is it not filling? Huh? It's so weird. I did it with my shortcuts that I always use shortcuts for that, but why would the non-shortcut not have done it? Did it work for you guys to fill? Anyway, it's working. It filled. You see what I meant by a donut shape? Let's do that again. I'm gonna get rid of that. If you didn't do it, let's do that again. Make a selection. And then Alt or Option, get rid of a piece of it in the center. And then just to be clear what it is that we just did, go up to Edit, Fill. And it's going to ask you whether to use the foreground or the background color. I went with foreground color, which is the black. And say, okay. But I don't understand. Why would this not work? Is it not working for you guys either?
No,
It's
mine is
working.
working fine.
What's that?
Mine is working.
I don't know why mine's not working. I mean, this is a shortcut. I always do it by shortcuts, and it's working with my shortcut, which is Alt Delete. Never mind. But that one, weird stuff happening today. Anyway, so that's the donut shape, so to say, right? That's selecting and then getting rid of a bit of that selection. So the only thing that ended up being selected was the stuff that was in the middle of that selection. So one of the things you would do is fill. Now, if I had something underneath, this could have been a selection of someone's shirt, and I left the belt out, and then I changed the color of the shirt. I mean, does that make sense? Going back to kind of what we were doing before. So you choose what you want to select. In this case, I filled it with a color. Now let's turn this eyeball on and off. So let's turn it off for a second. Well, you can leave it on. Why does this matter is because sometimes you might want to change or fix things at pixel level. So I'm going to go back to Kelly, right? And I'm going to approach, I'm noticing that there was something weird up here on the top of her. Okay, you might not have that, but I'm going to zoom in, and I'm noticing here that there's some weirdness here at the around this hat, and I don't know if this happened to you. Like some of her ear and some of her background is there. I mean, this was the automatic selection, so if it happened to me, maybe it happened to you too. But if not, go to some other area where there might be something that you haven't completely fixed yet. But I'm going to do it over here. So now we already know that I could go over here and fix that with black and white, right? I mean, that's an option. But sometimes we want to make a selection better. So well, actually, instead of an existing selection, let's go back. Let's do this. Let's go and change the color of her lipstick. So first of all, to make a selection of her lips, I'm going to head to the background, select the background here on the right side. You have to start with the original pixel layer to make a selection. Because if I try to select, if I have my vibrance here selected and I want to select her lips, it's going to not know what to select because it's working off of this mask. So go back to your background, select your background. And now, with all the tools that I've taught you, what do you think would be the best way to select these lips? I'm going to get really big, which means it's getting really pixelated. We normally don't need to work at this level, but just to show you guys. Probably I've taught you rectangles. Would a rectangle work for selecting these lips? Probably not, right? So I'm gonna undo that. So you could either try to draw them with a lasso tool. How effective do you think drawing with your hand might be? Probably not very good. Okay. You could, some of you guys might be better. If with a pen, it might be better. I would recommend always start, if it's a very clear, obvious thing like this, all right, like this, the lips, there's a beginning and an end to it, versus when you, like that shoulder, I keep using that example where you would have to line. I would say start with one of the automatic tools. If you use the object selection tool, it's going to choose the whole human, but you can click and drag around her mouth and wait and let it kind of reassign. And it did a pretty good job there of just clicking the mouth, but I think it's easier to use the quick selection tool where you kind of click and drag and it kind of does the job-ish, right? But is it really doing a good job of these lips? You see how some things are being left out? Now, when you're seeing this at command 1 level, if you were to have chosen those lips, it might look like it's working, right? But it's kind of hard because it's so tiny. But then when you go and get really close, I'm going to command down to the levels. When you get really close and you click on the lips, you can see that although it's getting the lips kind of okay, it's not grabbing all of the lips. So it's well defined, but it's not really doing its job, right? So this is where your knowledge of knowing how to fix a selection with a lasso tool comes in. So go ahead and do a rough-ish job with the quick selection tool to get those lips. And then grab your lasso tool. And I can see that it's missing these edges. So I'm going to hold down what key to add to this?
Shift.
I'm going to hold down the shift key. And then I can just add a little bit more. Right there. And the question you have is how far more, right? Because I can go ahead and get everything that's pink. But see, the way pixels work, there has to be a transition between her face and her lips, right? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. It has to be a transition between her face and her lips. So at what point is this supposed to change color, or is this just that darkness in the corner of the mouth, which is just a shadow and doesn't need to turn? Maybe I want to give this person blue lipstick to go with her clothes. Would I want that to be blue? So if you go, maybe I went too far, then you go option and you say, well, maybe I won't choose that little grimace area. Or maybe once you change it, you'll discover you need to choose that area. The whole point is that once you know how to use this, if you were to just click your mouse right now, you'll lose your whole selection. So Control Command Z to get rid of having undone that, and then hold your shift, and maybe you add some of these pixels, right? And then maybe you add a few more of these because they were pretty red, and so you can just do like that. And then if you went overboard and you did too many, then you hold down the option key and you get rid of the ones that you didn't want. So we're really getting the selection down to a granular level, and by granular, I'm really talking about the pixels. Does that make sense, you guys? Mm-hmm. So you use your tools, the generic tools. Before we chose this dress and we immediately changed the color, and then we had to fix the mask. But plan B could have been to make a general selection and then fix the selection first, and then change the color of the dress instead of having to fix the mask later. Do you know what I mean? So the best thing you can do is to get your selection as good as possible at the beginning. And then once your selection is as good as possible, you make your mask, and then you fix your mask with the black or white brush. Yeah. So let's go ahead and give this lips now a different color. So now I'm going to back out a little bit because in the end, I want to be able to see the other blue colors. And now I'm going to create a color that hopefully will give me a similar color. So I'm going to go again for solid color instead of hue saturation, just because I want to use that a little bit more, since we've used hue saturation a lot and solid color not so much. I'm going to go with solid color, which automatically then gives me those black lips of death. But I know that I'm supposed to go in and click on a color over here, right? And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit more because I want to see. I'm going to go and choose maybe a tone of blue that matches the bluish tone that I've been using. But be aware, it's like a bluish turquoise, but be aware that once it blends into the red lips, it might not end up being this blue. So I might need to shift it again later. Right now it looks wizard and weird. The solid color always looks a little bit weird at first, but I get it near enough and then I'll say, okay. And then what was the next step I had to do? Who remembers? To make this work. Change
the
what?
mode? The mode?
Change the mode. Yes. So over here it says normal mode. It's the blending mode. I'll go over to the modes, the blending modes, and then I will start to see what of this might or not work. And depending on what you have, one will work better than another. You go around until you go, well, there I've got that color. Hue gives me that color. Let me see anything else. Looks like not many of these are working. There's a whole science to this that I'll teach you a bit more. But I'm going to go with hue for now. And then I'm going to show you my lips, and I'm really expanded. I'm at 600%. What do you think about my selection? And by the way, I'm aware that class has been over for 2 minutes, so just give me a couple more minutes to finish this, and then we'll let you keep practicing. So what do you think of these lips?
Seems like it's a little bit over on the top lip, just a little bit.
Remember that I went
less.
ahead and added a little bit more to the top, thinking, oh, there was some red there, so I'm going to add to it. Well, in the end, it was too much. It gave me that weird like halo up there, but also in the end, that stuff that I said, oh, maybe I don't need to change those edges, are missing, right? So at this point, even though I did my best to do a good enough selection, in reality, when I put color into it, I discovered that, no, that doesn't look so well. Now, two things. I can either start from 0 again and go back and redo the whole thing, or now we know I can go to my mask, choose my brush tool, and just add or take away this way, right? So if I never know whether to use black or white, you start and you go, oh, that was the wrong one. Command Z, switch, and then start over here. So now I'm going to get rid of some of these. But anyway, but the other point I wanted to say is that no matter how, that it's never going to look good when you're this far, okay? When you're like zooming in like this. So if I try to fix this right now, it still doesn't really make sense to fix it this way. I can get in really granular at this point and say, well, maybe I don't want some of these edges right there, but I really can't tell until I see it at what zoom percentage. Having a hard time getting this group to like
100%.
speak up. Thank you, 100%. So Command 1, and then I look at the lips and I go, was that working or is that not working? You might want to join a little, sometimes Command 200, see a little bit more, something like that. And then you explore it a bit better. And then you go, yeah, no, that needs more, that needs less. So you do need to zoom in to do the work, right? But because if not, it's so tiny, you can't see it, but maybe you don't need to. And so then now I'm modifying it with what I taught you before. So now that's all the tools combined, right? Now you've got the possibility of fixing your selection from the beginning or fixing the mask afterwards. And by the time you're done, for things that are hard to select, hopefully you have enough of a choice that when you end up going to Command 1, your mouth will look normal and good. Okay, now in this case of this hat, when I hadn't fixed it at the selection level, which I could have, but at that point I hadn't taught you how to do that yet. And I go back and I go, oh, that's already done. Then I just go back in that case to the hat, to the mask of the hat, select the mask of the hat. And then I go over here and now you know to use black or white, depending on what I want. So I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of the stuff that wasn't supposed to have been there, depending on, you know, what I want. So in this case, if this is the vibrance and this is the hat, so I'm going to go to the hat mask, and the black is not being affected, the white is being affected, so that means I need to add more black. So I make sure to have black there, and then I just paint away so that I get back her ear color. Look, I guess that was like a hair that was there and confused the hat. And since I had some vibrance on that too, I'll get rid of that. And there you go. Now I've basically, I don't know if you guys had that little hat aberration, but go back to other stuff on your mask. And remember, the first thing you do is you try to get the best selection you can. Like we tried with the quick selection tool, then you adjust it with your lasso tool, and then you make your change. And then with your brush, you fix the mask. Okay. Now, there's more than just black and white you can use in a mask. So we're going to do that next time we work with masks, because black and white is either all on or all off. And what these lips really might need in this case is maybe a transition where it's neither all on or all off. And so that has to do with the opacity. But since class is over, we're going to explore that a little bit better. And once you have some nuance in your opacity, you'll find that you can actually get pretty good lips. I mean, however natural or normal blue lips can be, which of course maybe doesn't look too natural or normal, but you get the point, right? So one thing we didn't do, and again, now class is really over. I apologize for keeping you a bit longer, but I had a lot of these extra, like having to catch up people today. So I am sorry that I ran a bit over. 2 things for homework. First of all, if you missed any of the class, watch the recordings. Second of all, apply these things that I've taught you to other photos, okay? And put them in the Padlet. If you don't have other photos, use some of mine from class, but if not, any of your own photos, as I said, always, it doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to work. Monica used another photo and learned some stuff that she could ask today. So do that. Take the photo, take a picture of the sidewalk that you're walking on this morning on your phone, put it up there and try to change its colors or change its vibrance. There's many other things we can do, but right now that's all we've been doing, change colors. But it's all about learning how to mask so that then we can do other things, do some cutouts. We're going to get into some more creative stuff next class. Use everything you've learned, which is selection, masking, and then adjusting your mask in order to do the best possible choice. Use the different selection options until you get your best choice to start with, and then refine them with your tools. All right. Let's save this file, because when we started, it was a JPEG. So if we tried to just regularly save it right now, it's going to go, no, I can't save, because it's now a layered file. So it won't let you save it as a JPEG anymore. So we're going to have to save it as a PSD. So let's say file save, and automatically it will try to save as a PSD. It'll say format Photoshop. That happens automatically. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it in the same folder that I've been working from. I'm going to call this one Kelly masked colors or something like that, just that I remember what I did to it. And then I'm going to save. If you're in BDI, you're going to have to go to your Google Drive. So let me show you in BDI how you would do that. I'm going to reshare my VDI. If this had been that file and this is what we needed to do, we would go to file. Oh, come now. VDI is completely frozen. Oh, because I left it alone for so long. Yeah, I left it on. Yeah, so I left it on, but I didn't work on it, so now it's frozen. Okay, so I won't show it to you on BDI. If you need help saving on BDI, let me know. All right, I told Rob that I would help you with your Photoshop, so I'm gonna stay for that. If anyone has any other questions other than that. If not, please practice, put stuff on Padlet, and I'll see you guys in a week. Do you have to export to save back to a JPEG? No, yes, long story. The whole save as JPEG is new. It used to be you could save as a JPEG. Now it is an export situation. If you have to, so the answer is a bit longer than just yes or no. But I'll explain to that when we get actually, I believe next week we'll be getting into that a bit. It's the beginning. I'm beginning to talk on how to do the export files. The whole point is that at this point, you never want to lose these layers. You want to save this as a PSD. If you save this as a JPEG and get rid of these layers, then that's it. You're stuck with a permanently purple or yellow or pink, and you can, next time you try to change it, you're working off of something that you've masked, which is not as accurate as the original. So you want to always have the original there with its layers to change colors, and have the JPEG only as a nugget of what I'm going to teach as your final like output file, and you have to adapt that to what the output is going to be. So we'll talk a bit more about JPEGs later. Okay. So now I'm going to help Rob with his account if there's no other questions, and if there's another question, ask me now, and if not, I'll see you in a week. If you want to hear what's happening around the account and the installation and all that, please stay around. Otherwise, you're welcome to leave. So see you in a week. So Rob, here's the deal. We do, for me to help you with your account, I do need to see that computer that has the Photoshop, because then I can grab it and help, you know, sign out, do all that stuff. But I'm not sure if you're gonna, so basically we're gonna have to figure out how to get you to share that screen with me. You know what I mean? The one that has Photoshop. So you might need to take a picture with your phone, show me what's happening. I need to see what's happening when you say that you can't see it. You were able to share your screen with me a few times on that computer, I believe, in the past.
Right.
So we should be able to make it happen. Do you have anything else open on that computer? Any other programs?
I have Photoshop, Bridge,
Uh-huh.
and Zoom.
Okay, so let's close Photoshop and let's close Bridge. Close everything except for Zoom. And if you have any other application open, close everything, everything. Because this isn't about Photoshop anymore. It's about the account. Close everything, and then you'll be left with just Zoom on that computer. Yeah. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah, have a great weekend, all of you. See you next week.
Bye, Saul. See you next week.
All right, can you see me now?
No, you haven't. Have you shared your screen? You need to share after you do the first share, then you have to do a second share, bottom right.
Right, I don't. Oh, here we go. All right.
Okay, perfect. All right. So now I'm going to request remote control. Give me a second here. And let's see if I can try to work on your account. All right.
Okay.
All right. I don't have control yet. There he goes. Okay, so don't move your mouse anymore. And at some point, there's things I can't do that you need to do on the keyboard. But for the most part, hopefully I can do that myself. So I'm going to open up your Creative Cloud app here, which is part of your account. Let me go to your account. So you are set up with your pipeline ID. Let me look at the Adobe account. It's going to take me online. See, you're
That's-
in an Adobe Enterprise plan. You're in a school account, and that is not okay. You are not, this is a personal account, not a school account. So we need to completely change you. And this is, I hope I can do it from here, but if not, Adobe has to do this for you. That's the problem that happened. You do not have a personal account. You have an Adobe account. How you,
Well,
and
when I-
that's how you, when you signed in, that's what you told it, right? Somehow.
Well, I have to sign in with my personal account though.
No, but it at the very beginning, when it got set up, at the very beginning, it asks you for account and organization, and you and at that point you were supposed to say personal. It's just me. But somehow, because it asked for organization and your pipeline, you said pipeline. So now it's considered that you're using an account from school, and that's what's saying you have to go to the school administrator. And we're like, no, we're not a school administrator. Now the school, on the other hand, when you try to get them to help you, they go, oh, no, we can't. This is your account. Truly, SBCC IT cannot help you. This is an Adobe thing, right? Because it's the Adobe account that got set up incorrectly. So now you can't, I have tried to change it from here. And I think at this level, this is something that Adobe has to change. I think I'm going to try now to see if I can sign you out and sign you in again. But since you're already signed in this way, and this is when you talk to Adobe that they said, no, you're going to get help from school because they think this is correct. And you go, no, I made a mistake when I set it up. This is not a school account. It's a personal one. I purchased it, but I can't change. Like, I might be able to do it now, but in the past, the only ones who's been able to change this is Adobe, because they go in the back end and they reset your account. See what I mean?
Well, how would I get to touch with Adobe? I mean, I can't talk to anyone.
No, they have a lot of support. Yeah, contact Adobe support right there.
Well, it's all
Adobe.
email and
Well,
see,
oh, because
what
it
I get.
asks, yeah,
that's what I
so
get every time. Contact your administrator.
because you told them that you are a school account, that's the problem. Now, there's other ways to get help. So if you just go to, yeah, I see what you mean, because now you're set up as a school account, and so like, aha, we're hands off, your school has to do it. So let me see if we sign you out. The problem with signing you out is that when you sign in again, it'll sign you in to the right one. So let's see if we can create an account, a new one. Maybe at this point, you know what? Put in your personal email here, because it doesn't matter. You don't need this one. And put in your personal email. Let's create a new account for you.
All right.
Okay. Oh, you already have one with this one. Okay, go ahead and sign in. I already created an Adobe account with this. Okay.
Continue.
Oh, you're previously signed in with Google. Let's see what this is, because I don't know what this account is. So before I can create a new one, I need to know. So say continue with Google then.
Maybe I should reset the password.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead and say continue. We need to see what this is. Otherwise, it's hard to fix anything if we don't know. Because this might be, okay, profile name, account. Let me go to plans and payment. You have no items available.
See, it says I don't have a
Yeah,
program.
hold on. How did you install? I'm going to sign you out. When you
I think, Deanna, I think what
Yeah.
happened was I went in and I put this email, my personal email in there, but I did make it my personal account. And I think that's got everything screwed up.
well,
I'm pretty sure I didn't do a school account, because I remember you saying that.
yeah, so please contact your administrator. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna sign you out. Continue. You're about to lose power here. So can you take me to the instructions of how to install the instructions you got from the instructions that you got from College Buys? Because I want to see if we can delete and reinstall.
Well, that's what I tried to do. I
Uh-huh.
tried that.
Yeah, but the whole point is it's, can you take me, do you have an email from them? Show me the email from College Buys. I need to see that they give you something to download.
Let me hook up my charger. Okay.
Mhm.
I can't hear you.
No, I'm not saying anything. You said, okay.
Oh.
So they're, looks like they're both connecting. Let's see. Another different email address. Now you have both of your accounts with this email address. This one considers you. It's like both, like your Google account connects you to your pipeline. It's like you've merged accounts. Google and pipeline are both taking you to the same information, which is the wrong information. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that, like, here's the thing. I can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. What you need to do is contact Adobe Help. Let me see here if it takes you. There was another place where it said help. Let me just create an account. Oh, that's what I had asked you to do. Show me the instructions. Show me the instructions that you got from from College Buys, because you got an email from College Buys, right? So
right.
Let's go get that from Pipeline, I guess. I'll get it from Pipeline. Here we go. Let's go to your Pipeline.
Pipeline sign in.
Pipeline. And yeah, you sign in. I don't know what your sign in is, so. You know what? I'm gonna stop this recording because